Hello. Ooh, awesome. Wait, I can't remember certain people's name. I know Sammy. I don't know if that's Jill. I can't remember them. It so that's the hardest thing I found about the esports. Like when I started off in this, right, especially with when I was coaching some college kids, they'd have their real name, their nickname, their gamer name, and then whatever else people called them that I couldn't say on the air.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm like, some days I come in, I'd be like, guys, give me a break. Pick one name and stick to it with me. Like, if you want me to call you your real name, I'm not going to remember your gamer name. And vice versa, you're stuck with one. I swear to God.
Oh, it becomes especially dicey when you start getting Discord tags and stuff. And what's up, friends? I'm here alongside Paul.
Yo.
We're going to do just a little laid-back practice cast. You wanted to tell the people a little bit about yourself, just kind of your background and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have mostly done play-by-play. Today I'll be trying color, so I'm super excited about that. I've casted collegiately. I cast League of Legends mostly the past month, but I started off in Overwatch. So I've casted a bunch of T2 teams, hoping to move on up to some bigger orgs the next couple weeks, but just kind of getting back on the grind. I haven't casted Overwatch in like a month or something, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be super rusty. So I'm excited to get back into it.
Yeah, this will be fun. I think we're going to do Toronto versus Valiant is what I have the clean feed of. It's the one I uploaded to YouTube, at least. This is from week 15, so I believe we're in the double hit skin meta at this stage. So still double shield, obviously, if I remember correctly. But I believe we're in the double hit skin meta.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, it's well before the Genji buffs and all that. So.
Which is good. Genji buff fights is just like, oh, there goes Nano blading again.
Yeah, but Genji's so fun to watch, man. He's so fun to watch.
It's great as a spectator. I think it sucks as a commentator because like it's just every fight's a time bomb.
I mean, ultimates. What can you do?
Right. Yeah, I like double. I really like double hit scan. I really just love it. Like I thoroughly enjoy double hit scan meta.
So I think one thing to open up with here before we get started is just the importance of prep. I know Paul, you and I had talked about this before.
Yeah.
And you have some background in this, right? You've got some training in this regard in a traditional sense. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, even from like, God, casting League the last week, there were a couple analysts in the amateur scene in League that were putting on like 3 to 4 hour streams breaking down what was happening with the teams we were going to be casting that day. Like we had from Riot, they export every piece of data for every team into spreadsheets. So like when I'm telling you, we were going through every piece of data you possibly could on these teams just to find a couple interesting points. Like we really were. So I absolutely love getting to do that sort of thing.
Hell yeah. Well, I did some minor prep work in here. So, and this is
who do we have again? We have Valiant and
Valiant versus Toronto. And for all you following along at home, it is important to have this conversation with your co. Be sure and share information. Discuss what story threads you want to approach going in. What can be a common line across the entire match. So Valiant coming off of 2 wins. So this is mid-May is about when this match takes place.
And I'm saying it's always important to ask which rosters are in.
Correct.
Like, did they? I'm looking now because I've cast games and gotten into it and was told one thing, and then a sub came in. I'm like, well,
you just threw a wrench in my whole plans.
Yeah, it looks like
you gotta adjust
May.
on the fly.
Let's see, May.
Let's see. We're
okay. Kellex left May 1st, but otherwise it looks like the active rosters are gonna stand.
Yeah, so we're looking at KSP and Shax, Dreamer, McGravy, Lastro, and Rain.
Okay, cool.
For Valiant, Defiant are running Logics and Agilities, Beast and Nevix, and Karuz and Kariv is what we have for the opening map. We didn't really discuss. I mean, do you want to do the entire series? Do you want to just pick a map or two? I mean, we could just pick a map and see how we're feeling after that map. If we want to keep going, play it by ear. Like, I'm open to whatever.
Yeah, I was figuring do it. At least I was thinking like 2 maps.
Yeah. Get one map, kind of get in the groove.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just kind of send it.
Well, the other side of that is Control's the most difficult one to cast, and Assault is the easiest game type to cast. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we could start with Assault. We could start with the beginning of the series just to keep it coherent as far as that goes, which would start us on Busan, I believe.
That'd be good. Yeah, I could live with like a first map, and if second was Assault, hop to.
Like, it's Temple of Anubis is the Assault map for this series.
Yeah.
It's just very clear. You have very clear, usually have very clean and clear team fights. Yeah, no, there's always caveats in Overwatch, right? Yeah. But you typically have very clear defined team fights. So when you're doing the pacing of color to play-by-play in Overwatch, color doesn't usually have a lot of room to talk. There's a lot of action going on a lot of the time. And with Assault, I think it really helps you to train on throwing in appropriate times. Especially, like a team fight can be won if you take down both supports, especially if you take down both supports and say a tank, like that team fight's over. If you're attacking, you kill 3 of them, you still have all 6 standing, that team fight's Dunsky. Like there's no reason to call the last 3 kills. You can go ahead and throw it. This is coming from a play-by-play point of view. Let the color start setting up the stakes for the second point or discussing any important aspects, ultimates going in, and giving that room. Assault's just a good game mode to iron all those details out and to kind of get comfortable on that. And one thing I've learned, one thing Vupasaurus has taught me is is how to soft reset and hard reset as a caster. I mean, you soft reset and hard reset as a player in Overwatch. You know, I mean, we probably here all understand those terms of resetting after a fight, but you have to reset as casters as well, because there are times where you're going to get off, and you just have to force yourself back into the appropriate rhythm. And Assault's just good for all of that.
Yeah, Assault has a lot more natural hard resets and soft resets. Like on Koth, obviously, you only have the hard resets of kind of between rounds or between like really significant like team kill wipes and things. Like maybe you get some, more legitimate full stops there. But yeah,
Yeah,
Assault just lends itself so much better. Yeah, well, Assault especially, but even the escorts too can lend themselves really well to nice breaks and rhythm changes.
yeah, just clean transitions and good timing on those transitions, so you're not bleeding into each other's space.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing I'm doing now, and I did it the other day, and I liked it. I now stand when I cast, and I'm really liking it.
Yeah, that's actually my next upgrade is going to be moving to a standing setup.
I really like it. So because of quarantine, working from home all the time, I bought a really nice chair. That's good news from working from home. That's not good news for casting because I sink into it.
Right.
Like it's really good for my back and everything, so it keeps me healthy. But it's a detriment when casting because I have a tendency. I literally like feel myself like slouching in it or whatever. It's not good for my vocals. It's not good for my energy. But I'm standing. I'm doing my full-blooded Italian thing of talking with my hands. I'm getting more comfortable
That's awesome.
moving around.
I need to do that.
It helps. It helps a lot,
and it allows you to. It allows you to express more, to show more personality during the broadcast, especially obviously when you're on camera.
Yeah, and I think there's like there's legitimate arguments too. When you watch pro sports, you'll see like analyst desks usually are always sitting down because they're a little more relaxed. But then you might have like your person breaking down plays standing up because they have a lot more going on and they obviously need to work the board. So it's a logistics thing, but they have a lot more energy when your commentators for a football game or something are almost always standing. There's exceptions with like Al Michaels because he's 70 something years old, but he can bring it sitting down. He gets an exception.
Yeah, Al Michaels. When you get paid $40 million a year to cast.
Yeah, he gets Saturday night. He can take a seat. Like
Dude can take a seat. That's Al Michaels. He cast the Miracle on Ice. Like that dude gets a pass.
So I don't know if you saw in League of Legends, there was a team. They started 0-7, and then they won their next, I think it was 8 games to make playoffs in the LEC yesterday. They finished off the Miracle run over the last 4 weeks. And one of the casters for the Wednesday games was like, "Do you believe in miracles?" And I was like, "You are coming awfully close to something that I don't think you're allowed to touch." He's my favorite caster in the world, and shout out to Quickshot. He's the best in the business. But I was like, "Ooh, buddy. Please don't use that line. Pick something else."
You might as well be shouting the Giants win the pennant, All right, let me throw up a tweet real quick, see if we can get a couple extra people in here. We'll give people some time to kind of peter in, and then we'll get going. I'm also trying to put together a watch together, though I've never set this. I've used it before, but I've never set it up personally, because then we don't have to worry about syncing.
Oh, yeah, just, it's way easier than you think it should be. So literally just hit create your room and then send me the URL at the top of the screen, like in your URL bar.
Let's see if this will pull up the video I want.
Yeah, I love Watch Together. Good call. All right, I guess you can use invite friends in the upper right. I usually just send the URL, I think, and that I think works the same.
I think it does too.
It's funny coming back to Overwatch, right? Because you don't have a 15-minute buffer to warm up. Like in the league, you get the pregame show and then the entire draft and then a 3-minute delay. Built into the spectate mode, so you literally have 15 to 20 minutes minimum before you're actually expected to do any action, and even then you usually don't see action for the first minute 30 to 4 minutes.
Right.
So there is so much more lead-in time, which has pros and cons. You have to actually have something to talk about for that time, so you better know your shit.
Right.
But you get to like build up, get some banter going, get things warmed up. Overwatch, it's like, hey guys, we're going live, we're on content. It's like, and you're starting with the most action-packed one almost always.
Yeah, Control. Yeah, you're starting with Control.
Yeah, and it's sort of crazy when you like now that like I say it out loud, I'm surprised from the like entertainment side of it. Like it's gonna keep your viewers there, and things like that. So I understand it, but it's just interesting how it's mapped out that like you hit a pinnacle really, really quick with the structure of it. Let me hop in.
Yeah, Raged. I shaved it for pancreatic cancer. I put up an initiative for donation during that match, and it got met immediately with one fail swoop. So I shaved the head. That's good for August in Texas anyways. So, it was a win-win. It was a win-win. All right, we're just getting the logistics set up here. All right, did that link work out for you?
Yes, I was just adjusting sound and stuff, but I believe I am in. Let me make it full screen.
Now, do I play it from the YouTube player, or do I play it from Watch Together?
From Watch Together. So if you hit play in there, it should start playing, and then.
Now my question is, does the YouTube video itself start playing?
It shouldn't. It should just play on Watch Together.
Okay, this will work. Browsers versus
Ooh,
setup.
And the quality cleaned up too. I was worried that it wouldn't. That looks pretty good.
All right, see if we can full screen this bad boy.
Let me see. Logic's Agility's Beast. It's Nevix, right? And Kariv?
Nevix and Kariv.
Important things. Always check your pronunciations. Always check your...
Yeah.
Always check your pronouns. Don't ever take that for granted. It's not respectful to your players or to anyone involved in the tournament to not take that into consideration.
And if you don't know, use they. Just across just general term. If you don't know, use they.
Great point.
If you have specific pronouns, if you've been told, it doesn't happen so much in CGL. On the console leagues in particular, but once you move up into open division, into contenders, and some of these higher echelon tournaments, you will have player sheets where they can fill out preferred pronouns, and if they put he or she, then use he or she, because they've designated that is what they prefer. But if you don't know, they is fine.
Yep, if you don't know, they is fine, and if you are watching this and as a tournament organizer, please include that on your Google form. It only takes an extra second to include it. And it's very helpful because as casters, you never want to leave us hanging out to dry.
And we don't want to offend anybody. We want to get it right.
Yeah.
And we're going to make mistakes. It happens.
I screwed it up once, and then immediately, like, as soon as I said it, was like, wait, and then I got it right the rest of the time. And it...
Yeah, no, I mean...
It was... Because I actually casted, it was... I had Nifikins and Cupcake. So I had...
Yep.
I had an all-female support line. That was
I was going to say both female.
Yeah, and it was kick-ass. They are phenomenal supports. That was a pleasure to cast them. And
I've cast them as well. Yeah,
they're awesome.
They're
got
awesome.
To talk to them.
That's badass.
Cupcake's Cupcake's a spitfire. Which I mean, she had the great quote in the article I wrote. Shout out. But she was, she's incredible. They're really, really good.
Is that the lollipops or the who is that?
I don't know where, because Cupcake was on Triumph and I don't believe is any longer. But I cast them on an old roster during the Revolution Outbreak, I think, actually. So they already swapped a couple of times since then.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, they're sort of all over.
Yeah, here's hoping this holds. Otherwise, we may just have to play off of YouTube and sync.
It seems like it's holding.
Now how can I get full screen?
If you bottom right corner, hit the gear and then the little 4 by.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, it's weirdly hidden, and then you can escape key out. So I have mine full screen.
Make sure it's there for stream purposes.
It also just to just lean on you for standing casting, because I have standing mic, like a mic stand on my desk, because my desk isn't mountable. Like it's a big hunk of wood. There's not like openings for clamps.
Right.
So I have a mic stand on the top of my desk, and I have a 3-monitor stand. So when I'm standing to cast, I really should have this actually on my top monitor, so I'm not hunching over. So I'm actually going to do that.
I use a traditional mic stand.
Yeah, like I'm gonna so now I have my cast like at eye level with I'm 5'10", and I have it at eye level with me actually. Wow, this actually feels really good. I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that going, man. If I can get the funds, the next upgrade will be a green screen and a desk, so I can migrate to a standing setup.
It'll be nice if you can.
Yeah. You know, I'm hoping to get contenders 2021. That's the goal. That's the goal of all this, is to get better. And that's my next goal, is to land contenders for the beginning of 2021.
Hey, if you're not dreaming big, it's not a dream. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Fair enough. You know, in the meantime, we get to do something we love, so...
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do all the time? I get to talk about video games to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It
It's
literally
just-
doesn't get any better.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I'm super passionate about. You know, I know you feel the same way, so it's... There's nothing like it, that's for sure. There's absolutely nothing like it. All right, I'm going to go grab my coffee, and we'll get started. So,
Hell yeah.
Paul, you can entertain our viewers while I'm gone.
Oh yeah, I do. I got this. Believe me.
I have full faith in you, sir.
I was born to do this. Yeah, so as Bo talked about, one of the things that we think about when we're casting, especially when we're practice casting, is how we can bounce off each other, right? So the idea that we are a duo, we're not necessarily he's play-by-play, he's color, and just do your separate jobs in silos. It's this idea that it should come across as one cohesive broadcast team, right? So when we think about it, how do we interact? Where are our transitions and overlaps? How clean are they? And how human are we? Because, and I know when Bull comes back, I can remind him of this. There's a certain level of humanity to it, right? We're not robots just talking about a game. Like, he's not just a radio voice to say what's on screen that you're seeing. And I'm not necessarily somebody that's just here to provide purely analysis. We're also here as human beings to digest and enjoy this really special broadcast and entertainment we have. And so we kind of work on doing all those things together. And ultimately we try to, put together something worth watching. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, whatever you want to do. I am wearing a band t-shirt for the band Ghost.
Thank you, Spacey. For the band Ghost, what kind of music is that? I'm not familiar.
They are I'm trying to think. Technically, it's satanic metal, but it's more like the theatrics of Satanism. It's not like actively satanic. But they're awesome. Their performances are wild. I've seen them twice. It is absolutely incredible. They are awesome. I was lucky enough to see them
Guar
twice.
meets Marilyn Manson or something.
Okay, so actually, that Guar comparison's not the worst thing in the world, and only for the reason that it's super theatrical.
Theatrics.
Like,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
yeah. The guy orchestrates every single second of every single performance. That, like, the entire show, you can see the colors change through the entire show. The costume changes, the routines, the outfits, the rituals, and the satanistic and versus God. Yeah. So it's a lot of that, and it's cool. He's brilliant. And you don't know any of the names of the band. Like, they're all just ghoul. Like, Dave Grohl has performed with them, and you wouldn't know because he's in costume. Like, they're all anonymous.
Oh, that's awesome. Dave Grohl is just the absolute shit.
Yeah, like, literally one night, he's like, yeah, I've performed with Ghost. Everyone went, when? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And the people who saw them have no idea that it was me. and you'll never know. Like,
He's such a wholesome guy too.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, like we've had tons of celebrities in the band, like asked to play, and you just say, yeah, you're Ghoul for the night, like you're just one of the band.
Yeah.
Put on the mask and the everything, and you're set. I love that they've really put some interesting thought into their personas.
All right, getting into the meat of this thing. So, thank you for the follow, 303 Shape. Appreciate that.
Hey, Shape, how are you? I'm gonna make this introduction really quick. Bullaskunk, Shape, Bullaskunk. Bullaskunk is a fantastic caster, podcaster, all around good dude, host. Dude, you're rude. He's just smacking it.
Just smacking it.
Shape is the team manager for 303. Formerly was, I'm forgetting how many team names you've had to this point, but 303 is the important one. It was Turbulence, and then I forget the in between because I'm a bad friend. But Shape's one of the best in the business at managing, so that's a good connection to
welcome
keep
to the
in
stream.
mind.
Yeah, appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, there's been a few. She had 2, and then she's switching around and everything, but never more Purple. How did I forget Purple?
Purple, yeah, 303's Purple. About to say, I knew I recognized it. Yeah. So I've cast you guys.
Yeah, Shape's one of the best in the biz, so definitely someone good to keep in mind and keep around.
Also, a big thank you to FPS 80. I believe FPS 80, you were my 1500th follower. So, boom. Woo! Big milestone. Big milestone.
Congratulations, buddy. That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. All right. Getting into the meat of this thing. So, as far as prep, Valiant had a really rough April, but they played Shock twice.
This is still season, right? This is what we weren't to tournaments yet? This is still
this is still regular season. Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct, Spacey. And then, but they've won their last 2. One against Boston, but one against Atlanta. So significant. And really in the timeline, this is where the newbies of Valiant, right? Because this is basically a brand new roster. It's not basically, it is a brand new roster for the 3rd season. And this is where they were just kind of starting to show some signs of life, where they were starting to show some potential, is kind of this uptick. So they're coming off of 2-3-0 wins in the month of May. So April was a rough month, but May, they are pulling it back. So I think our storyline here would just be that Valiant, can they keep this uptick going? You know, can the stonks continue to rise for Valiant? On the other side, Toronto absolutely struggling. They've in the last 6 weeks, they have only 2 wins, and they're to the bottom 2 teams in Washington and Boston. So our storyline for Toronto is, can Toronto prove they belong off the bottom feeders? You know, can they prove they don't belong in the bottom of the pack?
Got it.
So I think that's but yeah, they've lost the last 2 and then had a bye. So Toronto have struggled in the month of May. So keep in mind, Frizz, this match that we are going to be casting, I did the clean feed a little while back. So this is from about mid-May. The meta is, I believe, double hit scan. Echo had just been released, so probably some Ash Echo in there as well. And yeah.
And I don't know
week
the
15.
results of this at all.
What's that?
I don't know the results of this at all, so I'm coming at this fresh.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I have no spoilers.
I know the outcome, but I did the opposite on it, so I don't remember exactly what happened during the map. So that's part of grabbing a match from a couple months back, because I don't remember any of the details. I saw the final score because I was trying to do a little bit of prep for us, if anything, just to demonstrate that you need to do prep and how important preparing for the match and having as much information at your fingertips as possible is so key to having a good broadcast.
Wikipedia, or if you're doing another game, your pedia of choice, huge. You need to know past tournament results. If you have a new person in, like we were talking about, if they have a sub, that stuff matters. Like if you flat out miss that, you're honestly insulting your audience by not because very quickly it can become, wow, so and so just seems to be way off, and your audience is sitting there, yeah, because it's a sub, buddy. Like very quickly you can lose
authority,
your credibility. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you very quickly lose. And then after that, it's like, why am I gonna listen to this guy? It's clear he didn't, pay attention to the teams. So it's very important to set that credibility as high as you can.
A very good point, my friend.
Because that's definitely happened. I've listened to casts and they're like, oh, that seems like, especially football. They're like, oh, so-and-so, that's pretty crazy. I'm like, no, it's not. He's looked at this for 3 weeks. Did you even look at the box score? Let alone, like, you don't even have to watch the games. Just read the box scores. And like, it's so infuriating. It's like, you didn't prep for this. And then it's like, well, I'm not listening to you the rest of this because you're just, really quick story before we jump in, super quick.
Oh, yeah, no, take your
So
time.
when Shaquille
This is
O'Neal
lax.
joined the TNT, he joined the TNT NBA show. I don't know how much NBA you watch there, Bull Skunk, but
Sure, I'm a Mavs fan.
yeah. So he's on when he joined the desk with Kenny, Chuck, and what's his name? I'm just blanking today on names. Anyway, but when he joined the desk, Shaq, coming from the NBA, was like, yo, I'm the best at whatever I do. I'm an all-star. Like, you know, he came in with an attitude. He came in with new guy on the block. I'm a big deal, and that's why I'm on the desk. Well, the one game they were asking, oh, Shaq, what's your prediction for this? And he said, oh, I think so-and-so's going to make a big deal. And the three of them look at him. You think so, right? Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're like, he's DNP. He's not playing today. He didn't get on the plane yesterday. He's been hurt. And he was just like, oh. And then the rest of the show, they grilled him. And they were like, oh, yo, I think Bill Walton's going to have a big game tonight. What do you think? Will Chamberlain going to have a big night too? And their producers came in the next day and were like, they called the two of the other, they called Kenny and Chuck into a meeting and said, guys, are you trying to get Shaq like to hate you guys? Like, are you gonna throw like, do we have to have a talk, like an intervention? They're like, no, we taught him a lesson. We're gonna make you look like an idiot. If you look like an idiot on the air, don't do that again. And
I disagree with that because
I do too, but he never did it again.
That's fair. But you are.
They also had that relationship beforehand, like they were still like actually friends and things. I wouldn't ever do it, but it was their way of telling the new guy. They cracked some jokes. They knew he'd realize, oh, okay, this isn't. I gotcha. I better work.
Right.
So definitely don't do that to somebody. But the point being,
because there is a point of, I mean, you are there to lift each other up, and
yeah,
especially now we aren't getting paid massive money to do this.
Right.
Shaquille O'Neal is getting big checks to do this.
He was getting big checks and he was making the rest of them look foolish. So they said, we're teaching the new kid, please don't do this to us on the air. We have a respectable thing.
Correct.
Don't act like
and there is something to be said for that level of authority. But at the same time,
we're not advocating to do that.
Well, especially in something as fast paced as Overwatch, you're gonna make mistakes. And your co-caster's gonna make mistakes.
Oh my god, yeah. You're gonna mess things up.
That's the pros still do it. Like I was talking about it in a CGL Discord, but I mean Hex was talking about it last week. I mean he makes mistakes all the time.
It's part of the business.
That is just part of the business, and you don't want to. I was wanting to address this actually, so this was a good segue. I'm glad you brought it up. But you don't want to just outright correct them if.
Oh no!
If someone called the wrong team, in this instance, if Defiant got the flip and I accidentally said Valiant got the flip, you don't want to be like, oh, didn't you mean Defiant? Like, you don't want to call them out like that. Right. You want to approach it with like, right, but, Valiant didn't spend a whole lot of ultimates. Defiant now holding the point with no ultimates or something like that, to where it makes it clear to the audience to correct the mistake. But you don't just straight call your co-caster out. You're not out there to get each other. And that is the quickest way to add tension into a broadcast that absolutely does not need to be there, and will ruin the overall feel of the broadcast for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always try. Yeah, there's a really clean way to, because I've done that as the play-by-play, and the colorcasters pick me up and said that, and I'll sometimes I'll address it, sometimes I won't. It depends like how close we are to a fight. I'll be like, oh, duh, those, and then I'll crack a joke. I'll be like, both teams are wearing red. What do you expect? Like
absolutely. No, that's a good way to recover from it. Yeah.
If it's right before a fight, you just let it go and you don't.
Sometimes there's no need to address it. Sometimes it's kind of obvious that you just kind of misspoke. I mean, it happens to all human beings. I don't care who you are.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna mess up on the job a whole lot, and that's part of the fun of it. It's just.
That is part of the fun of it, right? It's the fact that it's live. It reminds me of playing shows live. where it's like any show, any gig, you could just nail it all the way through, and that's what makes it so satisfying. Or you might flub a couple things, and you're like, yeah, GG, go again. I mean,
you get some good stories if nothing else.
Yeah, there's some good memes, you know.
A couple NA casters in chat.
Yeah, exactly. NA production. Yeah, sure.
What I would say? One time after a cast, I went back and looked at the chat. I was told I looked like someone that dropped out of college and worked at a McDonald's. That's the worst I've gotten. At least it was good. If it wasn't like this dude sucks, like then it's like, buddy, if you have that much free time to comment that, at least use your brain for more than a second. At least the other one was like,
hey, he put some thought into the insults. Yeah, sure. All right, I'll give you credit there. I mean, that was in doing a lot of console stuff for CGL and other tournaments. I would be observing, producing, and casting all simultaneously, and it was typically production that would take the blow. I'd forget I'd forget to change a score or forget to swap sides forget to unmute myself.
Yeah, I was just saying, you haven't lived until you leave yourself muted for 5 minutes and then look at Twitch and go, is he back? And I'm like, oh my god, guys, just so you know, I nailed that fight, but I'm back.
Oh yeah, no, it's happened. Where it's like, y'all didn't hear it, but that was the best cast of my life.
I know. It's the worst feeling. You just get to it, you're just like, oh. Like there's always that groan before you hit the unmute button. It's like, son of, and we're back.
Yeah. No, those just became affectionately known as skunk moments. So I think it kind of just turned into a meme of itself. So
Oh yeah.
All right, you ready to get in the meat of this thing?
Yeah, let's do it. This is gonna be fun. Like I said, first time color. Literally, I've done solo. So obviously I pick up color on solo because you're everything, but
yeah, because you're doing both.
Yeah, but this will be good. I'm excited.
All right, let's get the stream set up here. Now, my obsing is not the best. I'm not the world's best observer.
That's
and this is before Get Good, right?
Do you first person at all or no?
Yeah, absolutely. There should be some first person in here. I tried to just treat it as if I was solo obsing for any tournament.
Got it.
So, and I got a lot of practice observing during Get Good for Elo Hell Esports, but this is before that. So I feel I fear it's going to be a little unrefined. So I hope I give us something to work with as casters.
Hey, as long as it's on the screen, we can work with it.
I haven't gone back and watched it in recent memory, partially intentionally, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I can't speak to the quality of the observing itself.
Shape, I don't know if Shape's still in chat. I don't. Let me see if she replies, because I would just say we had an incident once where, okay, no, she's not. We had an incident once where a caster had to go, or one of our observers had to go yak during a fight, and so we were we had to fly a little blind for like 30 seconds before we got the different feeds sent to us. But it was so I told you, it makes for good stories.
I had one. Shoot, it was early on, but. Like my controller, something went out on my controller. Something, Billy, what's up, my friend?
Hey,
subbing 5 months in a row. Look at Chef Billy. Look at Chef Billy. Let's go. Big props. Let's get some Billies in chat. Here, I'll throw some Billies in chat. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. But back to my point, it was on Lijiang Tower, and the camera was just static. Like, the camera didn't move. And I cast the entire round just, like, from the original static position of the camera. Couldn't see what was going on. I was using, kill feed and top bar and a little bit of what you could get on the extraneous peripherals of the cam. But I ended up casting the whole thing. Like, it was a really interesting test. And it kind of inspired me. I've thought about this recently, but... go through and like turn off your HUD and do a cast with nothing on, so you don't have your kill feed, you don't have it'd be tougher with not having your ultimates available, but still it would be a great judge for who's got their ultimates ready. I've actually thought about turning this into a game as well, like something like an ult tracking game to see if you could figure out exactly where people's ultimates are at. Anyway, I'm just spitballing some stream ideas I've had here.
It'd be cool for the sole reason that of practicing, making sure you don't get caught falling in love with the kill feed, because that's so easy to do. I do it.
Correct.
I know lots of people do it. It's a really easy trap to fall into, even if you don't do it consistently. If you're having a bad casting day, that's probably what you're going to start doing first. So that's actually
it's a
good
crutch,
idea.
and it's not
exactly. That's a good way to put it.
There's so much happening. I mean, you're gonna use your crutches from time to time. The trick is, you have to. That's what they're there for. And I mean, there's a reason we have a kill feed. But no, you certainly don't want to just cast from your kill feed. That is a not a big no-no. That's the wrong way to put it. But one of the first hurdles to overcome as an amateur caster in Overwatch is to not rely on that kill feed to do your casting. And it's what Bupasaurus calls listing, where you're literally just listing the events of so-and-so killed so-and-so, so-and-so used ultimate, so-and-so killed so-and-so. And you think as a play-by-play, well, isn't that my job? No. Your job is to tell the story.
No, it's not. Exactly.
It's very tough to get over, Billy. Same. And I still struggle with it. I mean, that's something I'm constantly working on. Try casting in Sideshow when you're lagging on the feed. Oh yeah, we've had some fun clean feed issues with production coming through, making the jump to PC and starting to cast from clean feeds instead of being your own camera. We've definitely run into some clean feed issues that can prove challenging. Getting out of sync sucks. All right, I know you don't necessarily have all the time in the world here, Paul, so we should probably get rolling.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this sort of thing, for any other casters watching, this sort of thing is the reason why you get on a call at 6:15 for a 7 o'clock and not 6:45 for a 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Because now we're vocally warmed up, we're mentally warmed up, we're me standing and even you sitting, we're physically warmed up. We broke the ice. We're having some banter. We have things to talk about. We have callbacks. Like we have things to work with now that, like, I've had literally casters hop in 10 minutes before that I've never met, and they're like, "Yo, you ready to go?" I'm like, "Ready to go with what?"
Yeah,
like I'm talking to
that's
a stranger.
That's a big no. That's a hard no, sir.
Yeah, it's tough, and you make do, and sometimes it goes well enough, but there's always going to be a much lower ceiling on that than
absolutely.
Unless if you start, the earlier you start everything, the higher that ceiling gets.
Oh yeah. It's
2 seconds out of a feed. I once got 8 seconds behind in a league game. That wasn't fun.
Oh, I've gotten way ahead. I ended up something like 7 seconds ahead in recent memory. Like that, I think that was on trials, like this last trials, August trials.
I think I got 8 seconds behind on a league cast because my mute button was my minus button, and league's on a spectate delay. So I hit minus and I went down to half speed for a second. So I lost my sync.
Oh no!
Yeah, it wasn't great. I didn't realize it, like how far behind I'd gotten, and it was a mess. But in any case, okay,
your producer should catch that. Just
he did. Like there was a second because we were just bantering, and then a fight started. And he's like, "You're not calling." Like I just hear in my ear, "That fight already happened, dude. What are you talking about?" I was like,
uh-oh. Clearly, sync check.
Yeah.
All right, and this is an unusual instance in that we're not going to have lead in. Which I want to take a moment just talk about camera presence, and that you know obviously you want to make eye contact, you want to be engaging, you want to look like you are excited, not like just bursting with energy. It's not what I mean, but that you're not just super lax. You don't want to be sitting here on the cam like, yeah, I'm ready to cast, just lounging back in my chair. No, I mean, you want to be leaned in and physically engaging with the camera, as well as acknowledging your co-caster. So even if it's just doing the old reporter nod type of deal, I mean, it at least shows some engagement. I mean, you can do some hand motions, some facial expressions.
The Madagascar smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
All right, well, that's but this will be interesting because we don't have that lead in. So we're just gonna be like, boom! We are right into map one.
I see. Can you? I think you even have some. I think you had this at 23 seconds even as a lead-in if you want it.
Yeah. I'll back it up a little bit. I was just kind of testing to make sure that Watch Together was going to work for us at all. Oh, here. Oh, I can't control the time bar from full screen. That's a little lame.
Oh, that's annoying.
That's all right. It wasn't on camera yet. All right. So yeah, this should start. And I'm recording this stuff myself, so there is a couple seconds. You know, like the match is loaded, and it's just starting in the default camera position, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So I mean, really, this first 26 seconds, we would probably still be on camera. You don't typically swap to in-game until it says prepare to attack. Well, I guess they're already choosing. So it's already past that. It's already past the lead-in. Shoot.
Yeah.
It is already
That's
past
fine.
the lead-in.
That's fine.
Unfortunate. Okay. Here we go. Going live in 3, 2. Whoa. Nope. See, skunk moment.
Oh, canceled.
Wait. There we go. I was about to start casting, and the stream wasn't looking at the feed. Hopefully, I'm a better caster than I am a producer. All right, here we go. All right, here we go, Paul. Toronto Defiant taking on LA Valiant.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. And by let's play. Now watch together is gonna break.
So maybe because we just had it open for too long? Probably not.
Watch together. Work for me.
Oh, maybe.
There we go. Okay, I just had to get it out of full screen. And oh shoot. I'm sorry. One more thing. It was showing ads and stuff, so I had muted the watch together video.
Oh, no worries.
So give me just a split second to fix that. Oh, we should probably do a little bit of a volume check here. How's the volume on that? Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All
I
right.
don't think I'll lose you in the fight. And I have a volume on my end, too.
Fantastic. All right. Teams coming out. Can LA Valiant keep their upswing going? Or will Toronto Defiant actually bounce back, prove they don't belong in the bottom rung of teams? Coming out here with the Reinhardt in the Sigma. We're going to get some Echo and an Ashe here to put the hurt down from both teams, as a matter of fact. Valiant showing us that wrecking ball.
Yeah, Valiant looking to get out of the gate a little bit quickly with that Symmetra, but like you said, they're going to swap over to the Ashe Symmetra here.
Logic's the nice pick early. As Toronto Defiant claiming control of this high ground, looking to utilize that, take positional advantage, find some more early picks. Agilities takes down Lasher with some beautiful sticky bombs. 2-man advantage as the Zen and the Ashe missing from the Valiant. Agilities follows it up with some beautiful shots onto Rain as well. Agilities taking over here in our first control.
Yeah, Joey's putting on a ton of pressure. Dreamer not able to get in there and make anything happen, right? If they're not going to run double shields and look to run an off tank like the Wrecking Ball here, they've got to find a way to at least disrupt things, if not find a kill or find a pick. And early on, Valiant just couldn't break through.
Yeah, the Wrecking Ball, you've got to find a way to throw Defiant off their rhythm. Right now, Defiant are just planted on this high ground. They've got full sights on that point. Dreamer's going to try to come in and disrupt, but misses the swing through, gets nobody off that high ground. Now Agility's going on the flank, looking to put pressure down onto the Sigma.
He can start to look for something here. No CC available at all here for Defiant, so he's got free ability to roam, and here comes the ultimate.
Bob thrown onto the point. We're going to get the amplification matrix from the high ground as well. Logix doesn't even need it. Able to take down one. Nevix following up with a kill as well. Valiant can't even approach this objective. Toronto Defiant now just need 2 more fight wins to take this thing home. Valiant coming back with a couple ultimates here, though, Paul.
Yeah, well, they got to find a way to get to Logix. So far, they're just tickling him from time to time. Dreamer just appears on the screen for maybe a second, then disappears here. Ult advantage is so significantly in Valiant's favor here. At least coming back to maybe rebound a bit, but Defiant has more than enough time to give it up and come back.
Dreamer goes down early once again, though. Perhaps a little out of sync. The new squad coming in here from Valiant don't quite seem to have the synergy they need to take this opening round. Shax does.
Logic and Kariv are working so well together right now. They're just able to put in so much damage with the Discord Orb. But at this point, they're just running out of time though, Valiant. They got to find something here. They just got a touch point, and here they go.
Final fight territory in the dwindling seconds. They do manage to find a couple kills. Dreamer finally getting in that feed as Valiant find the first blood that they're able to draw from Toronto Defiant. But Toronto Defiant, 99% on the board, coming back with Flux as well as a Transcendence.
Great call by Defiant. No reason to invest anything there. I mean, you've got a couple ultimates left in the bank. You know, if you dry run there and you win the round, awesome. If not, I mean, you've got tons and tons of time to come back. Meanwhile, though, Valiant has a lot to answer with. Curious to see what they'll start burning here.
They're going to open up with the Gravitic Flux. That'll get Transcendence out on the other side. This could open up a world of hurt. They do still have to worry about that Immortality field, though. Cruz, he's keeping that one in his pocket, saving it for a rainy day. Shax gets a... Well, doesn't even have to use that duplicate. It's KSP coming up with the kill, driving Toronto back into the hole.
Yeah, no agilities means no flanking position, no opportunity to sort of pit different angles, right? You're going to walk in double shield with Baptiste and Zen. Not necessarily going to send them out on an island, so no agilities means they're going to just rain down on you. But here comes ultimate from Dreamer.
Yeah, using those mines to block that entrance, deny the choke. Toronto forced to reset. At least a couple of them going to circle around. The rest, I believe the rest of the team are going to go join them. And with this support light up that both these teams are, well, especially that Toronto's running, it's a very greedy support line. They're looking to put a lot of damage down, but there's not a whole lot of healing. You've got the burst of the Immortality field and the Transcendence. Now we're going to get Shax using the duplicates, going to go into the Reinhardt, but it's Beast who lands the Shatter. But despite that, DPS duo lighting up the feed. Valiant quickly get back on their feet and lay down the hurt.
Looking like they had Defiant right where they wanted them. Defiant just, they have this comp right now that's so all or nothing. And Defiant's just been coming up nothing. They had those few ultimates in the bank. They took the dry run, which at the time made sense, but they've burnt ultimates and they haven't gotten anything for it. They've got to touch here and put something together. They have to find a way to find a pick here, take down KSP or Shax.
After an amazing start for Toronto, we're now in final fight territory, and it's Valiant coming up with a pair of kills. 5-4 in favor of Los Angeles right now. You've got the Sigma on point, but he's all by him lonesome. Just gets surrounded, deleted. Mines come out. Kariv forced to use that Transcendence as a Minesweeper, clean off the point. Try to allow some hope for Toronto to get back on this thing as Logic clicks Shax right between the eyes, taking the Echo out of the sky. Dreamer does respond, get a little revenge for his teammate there. Beast with a nice boop, but it's not enough. Valiant will take the opening round.
If you notice there at the end there too, they're bold. They put both supports for Defiant. But I say put them. You can think of it one way or another. Valiant was able to force the supports underneath. So you have Baptiste and Zen shooting out from each window. What are they going to do with that? I mean, you can't. They're not functioning at all together. They're not functioning with the team. And you're not going to get any healing out of either of them because they have no lines of sights. McGravy was able to just keep them suppressed, basically. Dreamer rolls through, and they're able to clap back 100-0 there.
Yeah, going back to that support lineup from Toronto, they need to find kills quick. They don't have the sustain to sit in these prolonged fights. So if they don't get the early kills, man, it snowballs fast.
We see again, we're going to see the Symmetras and probably swap-offs, but it is possible for them to stay on a point like this. Nope, they're going to go right back to the Echoes. And again, Dreamer had a really, really slow start last time. That's going to be the difference maker for Valiant. It was in the last round. We'll see if he can do it again.
Another difference I'm seeing here is Rand coming out on the Brig once again. We didn't really get a chance to touch on this. The Brig is going to allow for a lot more close-up brawl, but you're sacrificing that all-important Immortality field.
Right, absolutely. And Cruz is using it really well so far. I mean, obviously Defiant fell in a hole quick once they had that early lead, but using it really well early on, they're going to be missing that value.
Toronto just sticking together, looping around from the left-hand side from Valiant's point of view. Valiant taking a position all around the Sanctuary here, looking to put damage down from all angles. Trades come through early, but Valiant find the more priority kill. KSP with a beautiful shot. Takes Cruz down. Agility responds, taking McGravy out of the fight as well. And the health bars.
Taking too long here.
Yeah. The health bars from Valiant are dwindling, though. Now Nevix is going to drop. No more take standing. The Beast gets in this fight. Valiant are going to have the edge and narrowly get first control started.
Yeah, you could see how patient Valiant was. KSP with just chunking. You can see that ult difference already to 80%. Rest of the team, they had Defiant had the early pick, but Valiant said, stay calm. KSP's laying it in. He's going to chunk them out, let Dreamer roll through, come back with mines, and Valiant gets the first point.
And not only will they have mines to help defend this point, Valiant will also have the big Omnic Butler as well as a Transcendence. Only Amp Matrix available for Toronto as they look to push back in.
They're going to be coming up on a couple more ultimates here. Defiant pretty much has everything they want. So Defiant does have the option actually to dry run here if they so choose, but Agility's really close to first pick. Not able to get it, but here comes the mines. Dreamer trying to open things up.
Drops him way in the back. Not using him to isolate the point. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's on the back left side, trying to force Toronto into an uncomfortable position. Now looking to come back and swing through him. We're going to get the bomb out, catching Toronto in between a rock and a hard place. Big Omnic Butler did something indeed. KSP finding a pair of kills with the Viper.
KSP just dominating. They haven't found a way to put any pressure on. We saw Agility's really early on in that fight almost pick off KSP. Still can't do it, and you're seeing the value of having any kind of flanker come in. Dreamer's able to get onto Logics and even Agilities when they're on low ground, but Defiant just don't have that option. Carib can kind of look over there, but it's not enough.
What Defiant do have now are 4 ultimates ready to go, nearly 5.
They're armed to the teeth here, Bull. They have to win this fight here. This isn't even one fight territory. This is last fight territory.
Yeah, one last option, or opportunity rather, Ant Matrix used from the side to try to open things up. Logic is going to go ahead and invest Bob as the duplicate comes through onto the Reinhardt from Shax. Big charge into the back, and that extra Earth Shatter ready to go. Lasher forced to use Transcend. In fact, both support ults coming out from Valiant. They're investing everything in this fight.
Huge.
They want to win it right here and now, but they got to get past Logic's. Logic's able to find a pair. Half of Valiant missing from this objective. Agilities is going in and use that duplicate. Picks the Brig. Takes out McGravy with a nice mace to the face.
Defiant with a really well-placed fight. Shax, had that great shatter, but they're not able to convert off it. He finds 3 or 4 in the side, but by then, most of the team had been picked off. Honestly, I think he just waited too long to use it. I think it wasn't the best duplicate. Defiant now has the opportunity to hold down point. They have a couple ultimates and the econ advantage, and they have an opportunity to do exactly what Valiant did last round.
Valiant threw everything in the kitchen sink in that last fight and still lost it. Now forced to come back with nothing in the bank. KSP might get that Bob online, especially the amount of work that gamer's been putting in.
His like how fast he's generating these ultimates is actually nuts. They still haven't quite found anything, but as long as they keep them off point, they're right. But Shax, ooh,
Logics hitting shots left and right, clicks Shax right in the dome, finds another kill on the Dreamer. Logic's just having a day at the shooting gallery here on the Ash.
Yeah, fish in a barrel here right now for Logix. He's found his rhythm here. And again, still coming back. They keep that same ultimate to ultimate. You do the comparison across the top. Still have a couple from each side here. KSP, though, has that Bob at the ready. Logix will be able to match soon, though. Probably going to just go back and forth at the same time. But the positioning of those, if it allows Valiant to create an off angle for Dreamer, could really put Defiant in a tough spot.
Yeah, circling around back, looking for somewhere to drop the mines. You can just see the little hamster gears turning both in the ball and in his brain. Where can he drop him? His opportunity there. We can't wait too long. Ant Matrix out from the side. He's going to create some nice crossfire onto this point, as well as that double healing. The mines do eventually come out, and Dreamer's patience pays off. Finds 2 immediately. KSP invests the Bob in. Nice advantage for Valiant, and now it's green light to push on this objective. Dreamer absolutely showing up on the ball here in the dwindling seconds as we approach final fight. In fact, overtime wick is a burn in here in the 99-99. KSP finds a pair. Shax picks off one as well, and Valiant will take map 1.
Yeah, Dreamer, they're really an all-star, opening up so much room for KSP to operate. Obviously, in the kill feed, you're going to see, how incredible Dreamer was there, but KSP using full advantage of getting some open space, bumping some shields around, finding some headshots.
Oh, man, and what a heck of an opening here to this series. Both maps going 99-99. Valiant able to edge out and win it in 2 rounds. Well, we're going to take a quick break and discuss what we just talked about. We'll be back into this series momentarily. Yeah, this is a good little warm-up.
Yeah, that was. I definitely found a rhythm once we got like a minute or 2 in. I was like, oh, okay, this actually works.
And I think I'd mentioned before, I have a little bit of a unique style. At least so I've been
Yeah.
told. So it does, with two casters working together for the first time, you're going to step on each other's toes a little bit. But our transitions actually got pretty clean. I really like the way you can do some just nice, quick back and forths. I like that a lot.
So here's one thing, and I just learned this in League. So this is it's not only League centric. I want to bring this over into Overwatch because I know I have the habit of doing it here, and he did it once, and I think you'll probably even be able to like remember how it felt kind of clunky. Um, was we brought up the break for rain. Um, we are like so if we are to use Boop's analogy of listing, if we already have like 3 or 4 angles we want to focus on, we can keep returning to those and either validate how true they were or talk about how it wasn't what we expected without having to add another storyline
Without having to add another layer of complication. That's very valid. Very good
Yeah,
point, my friend.
and that happens in League a lot. So, and just for context to set the stage, because I know you say League's not necessarily your thing, but like, I casted a game the other day. One team played through bot lane, so they played through a guy named Andy Bendy. The other team played through their top laner. I think it was Tony Top. I'm probably mixing it up, but they played through their top laner, and then the third part of it was middle and jungle. That they had 2 duos. One was a collegiate duo that had played together. One was another duo that had played together on another team. So those synergies were really important.
Right.
And like halfway through the game, we started talking about like the supports or something. I'm like, why the hell does that matter? Like there was so much else for us to talk about that we highlighted was super important, and then we said, let's just add this fourth thing. And our audience is sitting there like, well, what's important then? Is it the supports, or like we could have just gone back and said, yo, it's crazy how well mid jungle doing, or this is really not what we expected here. They look pretty rough. Or if you thought they'd suck, to go, I actually expected them to be better. So it's okay to keep focused. You're not doing a disservice to your audience by not mentioning everything. We're still highlighting what's important to us. Like we can mention it whenever, and you can always add stuff. It's not saying you can't. Like, oh, we said our outline for game 1, 3 points, can't add a fourth. But that was just something that came to mind because it was like, we talked about it for a second. I was like,
no, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
And that's, I had thoughts in my head of why it was important, but you're not, what you say on cast just really needs to be the tip of the iceberg. You're going to have all this knowledge. You don't have to spit out every last piece of it. I mean, that's
exactly.
You're so right.
We were at a stat on one of the teams the other day. They had the most vision. They had placed the most awards, but the least vision score, or a low vision score.
Explain that. Explain that to me, please. What does that mean?
So they placed the most pieces of equipment on the map to see the most things, but they actually didn't have the highest score of seeing the most things.
Okay, so it's literally getting rid of the fog of war on the map. It's your vision score.
So in theory, they got rid of the most, but they actually didn't see the most stuff. Man, I wanted to use that stat more than anything, but if I tried to, I would have been doing my audience a disservice because it was in no way important.
Right.
It was just me thinking my homework was more important than what the audience was getting.
And this goes back to I'm an animation major. Like that's what I went to school for, was for animation. And
sick.
One of the things they talk about, and that's always stuck with me, is just adding noise to the feed, which got referred to as you're just adding noise to the feed, and you want to keep that feed as clean as possible.
And that's why I might have tight binded it too much, that map. I'm like, I'm focusing on Dreamer, I'm focusing on KSP, and I'm focusing on Logics with a double tank and no off tank.
Right. And if anything, if I was going to bring up the Brig, that probably should have been established first, because the intention I was trying to get to there was that they'll have more of that point presence, or at least that's how they're utilizing not having the Reinhardt.
Okay. I see. Okay.
But it's...
Yeah.
We
could have put that even under. Yeah.
So it was a point that I didn't elaborate fully enough. And you're talking about given the reason why, and that is super important. That's something Boop has talked to me about as well. In case you haven't figured it out, Boop is kind of a mentor to us.
Yeah, I found this out from my mentor the other day. A guy named Chilling Walk. Shout out to Chilling Walk. He's a great caster in League and fighting games. But he said, like, when we got into it, he's like, why are you talking about this, dude? And I was like, I thought it was important. He's like, what were your 3 points coming into this? And I said, this. He's like, yeah, you're on point number 5 here. Why do I bring it back?
Bring it back.
Just bring it back. And I'm like, okay.
This is good stuff. This is why you practice, my friends. This
is why you practice.
This is why you practice. Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's go.
All right, so you want to just keep going through? I think Gibraltar would technically be next. We could jump to Hollywood if you want. I'll leave it up to you, my friend.
Let's do. I love Gibraltar.
You love Gibraltar? Let's do Gibraltar.
That's one of the best maps I think in the game. Period.
I agree. I love this map.
Are these listed on your YouTube unlisted, or are they?
No, they're available. They're available for it's just under a playlist called Owl Clean Feeds. I just have the one series up right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I might borrow these tomorrow when I'm with Billy.
Please, please, I would love to. That's why I put them up. That's why I put them up for everybody to use. Anybody is welcome to practice cast to these. They're on my YouTube. They're public. There's Owl Clean Feed Solo Observing is the name of the playlist. So it's just that and a bunch of CGL matches is what I have on my YouTube right now. I'm looking to expand on that, but all in due time, my friends. All in due time.
Yeah, what's your YouTube channel?
Just Bull Skunk. Actually, it's not yet because I don't have my 100 subs. Shoot. Here, let me just.
Yeah, because I'll definitely be using this with Billy and probably through the week, honestly, because I'm just going to be grinding on this, getting ready.
Well, in that case, yeah, we'll probably just do 2 maps, so it'll save you some maps to cast. And I would love to do more. I can make more of these. I can make some of these from Summer Showdown or Countdown Cup or whatever.
I should do some of these too because I want to practice my observing again.
I love observing. I mean, not as much as I love
so
casting, but observing is its own monster and its own art form.
It's so fun. I love it. I really do. I like producing actually a whole lot nowadays too. Like I got to do like producing this weekend. That was just like such a blast. Anyway,
Oh, Spacey's asking what lighting I use. It's a camera light, so it's meant to screw onto the top of a digital camera. It was $20. I'm on a budget here through quarantine, so I mean it was actually quite affordable. I put it on one of the like a small folding tripod stand, and so I can just attach it to the side of a bar stool or put it on top of the stool and have good control over the angles. But it works out. I want to improve it and perhaps get some more fill lighting and stuff and create more depth between myself and my background. But
honestly, it looks great. Like for what most people have, you have it really well.
For as simple a setup as I have, I'm pretty pleased with it. Not gonna lie.
It looks really nice. If you're looking for even under the $20 budget there, Spacey, if you have any kind of house lamp or any sort of lamp at all, even your phone light, just reflect it off a piece of poster board and just set up the poster board so it's a softer glow and just bounce it.
I actually had the box sitting over there. This is the light I use. So you can actually see the reflection. Here, let's see if I can get the... Yes! Dude, poggers. I actually have the reflection of the light in the light source on the box. What do you know? All right. And it's literally made to screw on top of a digital camera. And this thing was really cool. This thing was $20, and it works really well. You have control over... I mean, you have minimal control, but you can at least control like a 0 to 100 ratio on your brightness. And it came with a couple... Like, you can do it warm if you want, but I didn't want the warm light. I liked the white light. Life hack, I taped a paper towel over it to use as a diffuser.
It's amazing how much of that stuff you can use. I've heard ring lights are pretty good for cheap as well. I really need to upgrade my light. Oh, sorry, I'm reading your chat.
No, that's fine. You're welcome to read my chat, man. We're in this together here today.
Having zero money.
Dude, I understand having zero money.
Yeah, real ring lights are really good. You just have to be strategic with your placement. Otherwise, you're going to end up with rings in your eyes.
Correct.
And
you really need
actually looks worse.
And then it comes to you really need 2. Because if you have a ring light straight on, you will get these very bizarre light rings inside your eyes, and it's creepy looking. Even the Owlcasters, especially when they first started, I think they've improved it now. But when the Owlcasters first went online, you could tell the ones that had just a single ring light right in front of their face. It just creates this really bizarre look in their eyes, and it's almost eerie.
Yeah, it's better darker than with that, honestly.
So didn't you end up needing 2? You need one from each side so it's not directly in your eyes and to make sure you're not getting shadows. So that's why I opted for this light, which was intended for photography, to where it's more of a straight-on light. Ideally, I mean, 3-point light system. I mean, that's just back to basic lighting composition. You want your primary light. You want a little bit of backlight, which just separates you from your background, and then a fill light to get things like the top of the headset and things to define your silhouette.
speak the truth. Yeah, I have nothing to add because that's exactly that's it.
I would
That's
just go for the
lighting
stuff. So yeah.
yeah, that's lighting composition.
Yes, sir.
That's the be all end all of it.
Yep. All right. Let me get stream back over. We're gonna head into map number 2, my friends.
Let's do it. No sub. No, is Lastro? No, Lastro's not a sub. He was there last game. Nope. Okay.
Now, KSP Shax would be the 2 I'm keeping an eye on. They keep Shax in for the Echo. No changes on the other side either.
So yeah, basically, so I'm looking at this. My focus is basically again on KSP on the Widow into an Ashe and seeing if they. Well, okay, well, KSP on Widow, full stop. Dreamer on another off tank with another off tank versus into double dive.
Okay, so be careful. Pretty much rule of thumb: don't ever call the attacker's composition until the gates open.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. We're at gates aren't even open yet. Whoops.
Right. So
okay.
we have.
I was assuming it was the old one. Nope.
So we do have. I mean, obviously, you could talk about the defense, and that's talk about the defense, their compositions, because I mean, I seriously doubt Valiant are going to roll out with Winston in Hog. I don't even know who's attacking. I'm just assuming by looking at the compositions that Dreamer and McGravy are kind of memeing here. I don't see any world where they walk out with Winston Hog. But
they should. Yeah, I would say yeah. They probably should.
So I'm assuming they're on the attack and whatever. I could be wrong. I'm not a pro player. Maybe they've got some pro strats that I'm not aware of.
You see it in ladder. That happens in ladder on Gibraltar.
Well, yeah.
But that's ladder.
That's ladder.
Yeah, that's a whole different animal.
All right, let's get into map number 2. Valiant up 1-0, looking to keep their win streak alive. This would make 3rd in a row for this newly formed squad here in Season 3. Defiant continue to struggle, though. It wasn't just a pure wipe. Both of our opening rounds were 99-99. Defiant making it very competitive. Starting off on the defense here with the dive tanks to accompany the Echo and the Ashe.
Yeah, Defiant sort of have to be a little bit boomed about starting off the map going 99 and then getting reverse swept on it and then, losing out second point. And like you said, they've been on such a cold streak. You wonder if after that they're like, oh, again? And you wonder if some of that starts to come into their play here and kind of bog them down. But we're going to see some swaps already here coming from Valiant.
Yeah, McGravy picked the Hog just to try to see if they could get an early pick off of the bridge, and it's going to go ahead and swap over to the Diva. So we're going to get traditional dive tanks from both teams. Toronto looking to hold the high ground, but Shax is up there ready to grade him with the focusing beam. Valiant already going to push through car washes. Defiant rotate back.
Lastro with the beautiful setup there, landing the anti-grenade there. Shaq's able to capitalize in there like a honing missile, just seeing the purple and diving right in. And they're going to be able to get this pretty far for free. Shax just has so much suppression available to keep them back.
Oh, shoot. As the cart approaches this corner, we're going to get our first real fight here. Beast gets slept early, but McGravy out of the mech might halt progress for the Valiant. They're still staying in this fight. Shaq's trying to drive Logix off that high ground, and that is a must. You cannot give Logix free reign. We saw the hurt he put down in an opening round, but KSP, not to be outdone, picks the head off of Agilities. Good opening pick here for Valiant. Could be the key to go.
They've got to get KSP off the ground here if you're on the side of Defiant. If you want to stop this hold, you got to chase after them. But Beast has the ultimate here, going to dive in, has a lot of potential to keep chunking them out.
Lastro does land the nice sleep dart, but not before Beast is able to pick up 1. Valiant now down 2 in this fight. Make that 3 as Beast, an absolute beast of a Winston. McGravy with a late pick here, but I think it's a little bit more than a consolation prize, or nothing more than a consolation prize for the LA Valiant.
Yeah, Defiant has a real opportunity to stagger them pretty hard, but Rainy to pick up a kill, though. Maybe Valiant could be able to turn things here.
Yeah, Lastro went ahead and invested the nano boost onto Dreamer. Able to get Agilities out of, well, Agility's going to choose the duplicate form, goes to the Ana. It's an interesting pick. Looking for a little bit of extra utility, but Dreamer able to pop the Primal on the back. This fight is not over, though. Toronto clawing their way back into it. Bob on the point, stalling things out.
Yeah, well, just when I thought that Defiant had a real opportunity to stagger things and use the clock against Valiant, they were able to turn the tides for just a minute. I don't know if that duplicate was on purpose. I think it might have been, like you said, just for some more utility, just to swap to anything here. But Valiant running out of, with 90 seconds to go here, they've got a couple ultimates. I think they'll probably look to play with Bomb and keep duplicate if they can for next point.
I'm guessing that Agilities was probably aiming for Dreamer, and Dreamer leapt out of the way or something of that nature. Somehow avoided, perhaps dropped Bubble, was not able to get duplicated. Because the Ana was an interesting pick. Seemed to be a waste of that ultimate.
Yeah, they didn't get like anything off that, like you said though, and then in return, Beast just getting slept, so they basically lost 2 ultimates in a hurry there.
Now Defiant pop and rally, gonna bolster the team here for this next defense. Valiant, with less than a minute to go, approach it, and Nevix drops the self-destruct into the server room, finds 2. Beast in there still holding down the fort, and Valiant suddenly finding themselves with their backs against the wall.
Doesn't get any better than that. Just recognizing, okay, there's a sleep there. We're just going to go right in. Bubble, not really sure what they were looking at. Bubble basically went around the bomb, able to get, couldn't escape anything there. So again, Valiant, though, 30 seconds on the clock. In last fight, they would have been content to just use 1 or 2 ultimates, see how it goes. Now you have to invest everything in bank on being able to build back that economy later. You can't afford to have 0 on a map like this.
With Nano Boost and Primal Rage, Defiant can stall for days here. Duplicate coming online shortly for them as well. Self-destruct, as well as both support ults, all thrown in simultaneously from the Valiant. KSP is the recipient of that Nano, not really able to find much. Does get the DMAC on the Nevix. It's a good start, but little more than that as Valiant are trying to approach in the server room, and they just keep getting caught in here. Toronto happy to box them in, clean up those kills. KSP had tried to move the back.
Won't be the nice. Angry Monkeys just having a blast here. Gonna be able to just wipe out Valiant. I think they were trying to stall long enough, at least maybe get KSP Bob, but they can't put anything together here, and just like that, Defiant gonna hold them under 1.
And a very easy win condition set here by Toronto. They just need to make it to that second corner, and they're gonna tie us up here in this series.
And part of that, you wonder if Valiant just played a little too lackadaisically to open up, right? In the first 2 minutes, it felt like they barely used any ultimates. They were saving them, dry running them. They got a couple of times staggered. They got behind enemy lines. Like, it just never felt like they had a clean fight till about 2:15 left. And if you're only setting up then and then staggering ultimates, you're not setting yourself up with any winnable fights.
And Valiant was trying to surround them. You saw KSP try to work into the backs, but Logic was doing such a good job of holding that down. The supports were trying to loop through server room, and Defiant just pounce on him in there, forcing the peel from the Valiant tanks, which means they weren't able to get up on blue box. They're not able to do the surround and conquer strategy that they were hoping for. Defiant keeping control of the pace of this match.
And on the flip side here, when we're setting up here for how Defiant's going to want to play this, again, subject to change, but Logic's, and we've seen this comp with an Ashe and an Echo a whole bunch, so I wouldn't be surprised if they keep it. But how quick Logic's can build this Bob, right? If KSP wins this Bob versus Bob ultimate matchup consistently, Valiant has a chance, but the other way, Defiant are going to just roll through.
Yeah, Logic's just absolutely finding his rhythm here today. Such a joy to watch this gamer click heads.
Dude's disgusting. Honestly, when he puts things together like this, I mean, KSP is going to give him a run for his money, but between the two of them, it doesn't get a whole lot better on the Ashe play.
Yeah, the seasoned vet versus the rookie. Beast finding first kill onto the brig here to start things off, but does sacrifice his life in the process. With that, I believe we're going to see a slight soft reset. Toronto going to push the cart as far as they can.
Yeah, and I like that. They know that they have some ability to play it safe. You end up in this awkward spot of, do you play passive and just take, okay, 1 fight reset, 1 fight reset, 1 fight reset, or try for a steamroll when you don't necessarily need to. So I'm curious to see how Defiant's ultimately going to opt for things here. I mean, you could just do the latter 6 ultimates win strategy, but Valiant's going to be looking to build them up pretty quickly too.
Logic's on the high ground, trying to drive Valiant off a blue box. They're looking to stage, see if they control this very advantageous position. Now Defiant tanks are going to move in as they invest to clean that off. They've got to force Valiant back if they want any hope of taking this point.
Weren't able to do anything off the ante on the KSP there. Both tanks, like you said, just forced off that high ground, not able to manipulate it any. remarkable sort of way here, but Agility's going to have one of the first ultimates on the board to do damage here. Probably can swap to a monkey and just really rain in. Here we go.
It's exactly what happens. Going up into that high ground. Lastro's super low. Pops the nano boost on the KSP to try to put some hurt down. Try to provide some bodyguard potential. But the Primal Rage comes out just battering Valiant in all directions. All the while, this is going to allow for Toronto's front line to push in. Agility does eventually go down. But now Beast out there with the Primal Rage. Bob's on the field. So Defiant back at 6-man. We'll say 5.5 here. And continuing to control the pace of this battle. Cart slowly edging forward. Just mere meters to go before Toronto take this map.
And nobody had a pick for so long. They're finally able to get it here. Spawn advantage does go to Valiant here, obviously, with how far along they are. But Defiant here going to put out a couple ultimates. And here comes the rally.
Rally up for Defiant, self-destruct thrown in. Dreamer down means there's no bubble able to block that. Valiant have to just run away, yield up some space. Now, McGravy did respond with a self-destruct of their own, and he's now the lone tank holding down the fort here in front of the point A doors, in front of the box of victory. Logix doing Logix things with 2 big kills with the Viper, looking for the follow-up. Can he get the third? Dreamer does eventually go down to the hands of the Bob, and Toronto swiftly take map 2, tying us up in the series.
KSP absolutely winning that duel there. 7th-man Bob coming in. Way too much firepower there for Valiant to handle. Despite the spawn advantage, they just can't compete. And right now, Logic's just putting on an absolute clinic going into map number 3.
We're going to take a short break and discuss what we just talked about. So we'll be back with map 3. Potentially, we'll see how we're feeling. I wish I could throw it like that. Like, yeah, I may or may not be back. Stay tuned and find out.
I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, fuck it. Like, that's good. I looked over. I'm breaking the ultimate boop rule, but we were on your stream, so I had it up still. You got a good question here for you that I think you can start with.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let me catch up on some chat here. Obviously, I'm going full screen when I'm casting, so forgive me if I'm not paying attention.
And I'm looking at my other monitor, so I only just catch that there's things being added to it, but that one piqued my interest.
Let's see, got some accent lamps. Okay, yep, I need to buy a new mic. Yep, having a good mic is very important. Space you definitely worth investing in. Because, yeah, we're all about the audio. So what Chef Billy's saying, mic over lighting, I really agree with that. If you have to choose between one or the other, better audio quality is the way to go.
Always.
When you're casting, are you just focusing on certain people, i.e. trying to focus on KSP Shax versus Logic's agilities? Sometimes when I'm on play-by-play, I get caught trying to call everything, but I feel like I get lost in trying to tell a story of what's going on. Very good question. And this is something I struggle with as a caster in general, and you're just going to refine that more and more. There's not going to be an immediate answer solution to this, but it really is about focusing on certain things. Now, you can't spend the entire match just focusing, let's say, on the Ashe duel in this case. There's a lot of other important things going on, but yeah, it's how the matchups develop is really, I think, my approach. So you can throw in speculation in the beginning and things that you're looking out for, but as things develop throughout the series, kind of something Paul was talking about earlier, you can talk about how it either went as expected or, you know, what made it surprising and other important factors that came into it. So if the tanks end up being the ones showing up, or if, you know, we're hyping up the KSP Logix battle, but it's really Shax doing all the work, then of course you want to focus on the most important plays of that series. And I mean, maybe it's a matter of, you know, KSP not performing as expected, but Shaq's there to pick up the slack so that you can tie it into your story thread, but always presenting the important information. Does that sound? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. And I think Pancake, I think you hit the nominal point here that trying to tell a story of what's going on. If you're telling a story, there's lots of things happening in the background of the world that you're not catching. Oh, let me see. You talked about having points. You have 2 or 3 before a team fight match to help keep things organized. Yes,
absolutely.
You can write that down. You can have those in your head. Ideally, you talk to your co-caster.
That's all in your prep. Yeah.
And here's the thing. So it's easy for us to have it in the sense that we're watching an OWL game. So we have a 15-week schedule. They're coming into it. They have a history. They have players we know and things going on. If you're casting platinum night at Revolution Esports,
I
which
mean,
I've done.
CGL.
Good luck.
CGL is the most popular console league, and you're talking there's hundreds of teams. I mean, like 350 teams.
Right, and you're not gonna. There's no way you could ever possibly know those. Like they're not gonna be on like yeah, what Joe Schmo's team's not gonna be on, Wikipedia. So your prep's gonna look very different. So like, what's my prep look like if I was doing like one of those games? About as much as I can get. I talk to both managers beforehand and just ask, hey, what do you expect today? Or talk to their coach and say, hey, what do you expect today? If they don't have either of that, whoever their point of contact is, just say, hey, how's it been going? What's going on? And like that's as good as it's gonna get. Unfortunately, if it's something like this, um, you try to watch previous VODs, find out where they are, talk to managers, coaches, players. If it's a tournament of several days, you talk to who casted them last, see what they hit on, whether it worked or not. Again, read. You always start with whatever your producers give you, then you go to Wikipedia, then you can check like brackets and matches, watch a couple of VODs, catch up on your Overwatch patch notes. Like if something just happened where someone got reworked and you're just blissfully ignoring that, that should always be part of your prep.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one thing that we talked about earlier, one thing we were talking about the iceberg, and there's actually a couple points I want to make here, but we talked about the iceberg and how you only really see the top information. One thing about this patch is this is before the Brig nerf, so Brig is actually armor packing people, and we haven't even really touched on that, which really is a pretty big point that we could have worked into the story if we wanted to. And that's the other thing is, you as a caster, it's your choice. We could spend the whole cast focusing on the supports if we wanted. If that's the story thread we want to tell, that's the fucking story we want to tell. Like, period. It's not right or wrong.
And Bull, you said that perfectly, because we had this argument in League we had a debate in one of the League servers the other day. Someone was like, "Oh, should we talk about the dragon thing?" And someone's like, "If you're talking about the dragon buffs in July from December, you're being lazy." Like, but if it's part of your story, if it's something that's really important to the jungle matchup, and you want to highlight how it benefits one team and not the other, and like there's new abilities coming this fall, if it ties into your narrative, it's relevant. Don't insult your viewer by telling them something that they already know if they're watching the esport of it. You can touch on it, you can explain it and say, this is this for this reason. Here's why it matters. The here's why it matters is really important.
Yes, explain. It's not just providing information, but why you're providing that information. How do you? Yes, it is absolutely through prep.
Yes.
And some of it develops. Say the instance that we're talking about, it's a team you've never seen before, you don't have much info on. One of the other points I wanted to talk about was reaching out to captains. That is such a huge thing that Paul was talking about, where just reach out to the team. Ask them. Billy is really good at this. Reaching out to the captains and asking them, what players should we be looking out for? How have things changed? How have you prepared for this match? You can learn a lot just by reaching out to the captains and just through a little DMs. The other side of that is you can say, hey, we're going to learn together. This is a new squad we haven't seen before. We're going to learn about this squad together. Let's see what happens going in. So, and then part of that just goes back to game knowledge. You can theorize on what they're attempting to do and who can have big impacts, such as an Ashe. But sometimes you just don't have the information, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. We're all learning all the time. And absolutely, Shape is 100% correct. Most captains are more than willing to talk about their teams.
Yeah, I would say, like, I'm pretty sure you've actually talked to Shape about her teams, right? I mean, obviously, I'm like best friends with Shape, so I do that. But yeah, if you ask a manager, hey, tell me about your team, they're not going to go, I don't really want you to brag about us on screen. I'm just not feeling it. Like, like you're talking to people, asking them what's really exciting with what you have going on that you pour every free second of your life into. The chances are they want to talk to you about it.
Spacey, I don't know what you typed in.
Kindly.
Sorry.
It's just one of those things that like is super. Oh, he's just talking about how much he was going to spend on lights.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize, Paul.
No, it was funny. I caught it too out of the corner of my eye. But yeah, like, and I say it in like a harsh way, but like, yeah, if people are like afraid, like, oh, if I'm bothering them, like, you're not asking them, hey, I heard, so and so was suspended for something. Can we talk about it? Like, you're not asking them anything. You're asking them, I'm talking about you. Can I talk about it accurately? And Pancake, part of the prep talk to the managers for pronunciations and pronouns. If you don't have those at your disposal, that is at
Yes.
bare minimum. Please, I don't know if you're here for the beginning of the stream, so I want to be sure I mention that. That's super super important.
Yeah, it's worth reiterating for sure.
Yeah, if you don't have that, we're going to be working on. If you don't already, follow me on Twitter and feel free to DM me anytime if you have more questions. And Bull obviously would too, but just in case you want more people in more places.
Absolutely, Pancake. No, that's why I'm doing this stream. We were going to do a practice cast, and I wanted to do it live so that other people could learn. I know there's a lot of new casters out there, particularly in the CGL scene, trying to figure out how to get into it, figure out what to work on. So no, I'm happy you're here, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us. There was one other good point in there I wanted to touch on. We said so much good stuff, Paul.
I know. I know you had one more that we just totally missed.
I swear there was. There's other important stuff in there.
People running the tournament. People that run tournaments a lot. Shape and I do it, so we think other people should do it. It doesn't mean people prioritize correctly. And that's not a slight to other people that don't, but they ought to. I think more people are going to start doing it.
Paul, how are you looking on time? You want to try to do another map, or should you go ahead? I know we've been going for about 90 minutes now, so I know you have other obligations this evening.
You want? Can we do one more?
I'd love to. I'm enjoying the shit out of this.
Yeah, let's do one more map. We do one more in recap, and then I think I have to bounce. It's weird. The thing I think I had anyway, I think I time zoned wrong. So I'll get the recap of it after. It's just it's a play-by-play versus producer versus color caster draft, and I think I'm being drafted, so I need to find out if I am, what the hell I'm doing.
All right. Oh, and by the way, congrats, Spacey. That's exciting on your new lights. That's exciting. It's fun to get it going, and that kind of stuff just makes you enthused to want to cast more and stream more. Having cool toys and the right tools are very inspiring and very important for that matter.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Like I won't tell you how much I invested in recently in my setup, but like I'm on a upgraded mic, upgraded interface, upgraded stands to let me upgrade camera, everything. And it's
so important.
Yeah, when you get up in the morning, like I still have some audio things to fix. Like I have to redo a lot of my space, but you get up every day and it's like when someone hears me, I'm gonna sound good, I'm gonna look good. And it makes you feel good. It's like anything else. You go out for your interview, you're dressed in a suit, look good, feel good.
You're going to perform at that interview.
Hell yeah, you are.
Yeah. Exactly. When you got your light, your casting got better. It's exactly it.
So I used to be a bowler, and I still bowl, but every time I get a new ball, I'd always do better. I'd be like, the old one sucked. Like sometimes it's just fun to have something else to like motivate you, or even sometimes it'd be like, all right, out with the old, in with the new. You're starting a new chapter every time you do it. And the more you're buying stuff, the more you're starting new chapters.
I was on a bowling league, but I was terrible. I was so bad. I was so bad. I mean, I have my own ball, and like I spent money on it too. And after like half of a season, like I'm pretty sure I got dropped from the team. I was just so awful.
I'll have to send you. We have my father had to build us an entire rack in our basement for all of ours. Like I think I probably at my peak owned 14. I don't quite remember though. But back when I was talented and not washed.
You hush. You hush. You hush. Enough of the self-deprecating humor. Only I can do that. This is my stream. I'm
gonna say this is your stream.
I'm the only one that gets to make fun of myself. No, I'm kidding. Oh, you're a beast, Paul. All right. Let's see. Let's get into map 3. Yeah, looks like we're heading to Temple of Anubis. I like this. Watch Together is just going through the maps in order.
That's right. I was like, I don't remember you pulling this up, but this was perfect.
No, it's just flowing through them.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm no subs, same thing.
No subs. Really, you're not going to get a chance to see comps until you get into the game. So don't get in the habit of trying to analyze the comps with minutes to spare.
It's just because it's frozen on my screen is like why I'm like in my head.
No, by all means, take whatever information you can. You should get subs beforehand though, so you can discuss any substitutions coming in. But we don't have any subs.
Yeah,
and you can even say
first map. What was it? It was Valiant then Defiant. Right?
Yes, Correct.
I usually and I don't know how you do it, Bull. I keep post-it notes on either side of my screen.
Yes.
Where I put what side they're on,
Yes.
who won what maps, because you might be like, oh my god, like how do they remember this stuff? We don't. We write it down. Write everything down. It's okay. I usually keep 4 to 5 tabs of Notepad open on my second monitor when I cast for the tournament info, the team names, team pronunciations,
Yes.
win loss,
All the team sheets,
info.
brackets, all that shit.
Yep.
No, I keep post-its and I put them on either side. So they're on either side of my monitor, and then I'll swap them like to determine size. Because when we're casting from a clean feed, we don't have overlays. You don't have team names at the top of your screen like we're seeing now. You have nothing. And you want to, ideally, obviously, you want to know the players enough to know what team each player is on. But in the heat of the moment, man, post-it notes will save your ass.
Yeah, when you're casting at like an 8-hour, I've done like 8-hour marathons. By hour 8, you're like, what team is this? Who the hell plays for them? Like
part of that's just casting for 8 hours. Your brain just starts to go numb. Man.
Yeah, you're just like I'm looking. I'm like, I think they're on that team. Blue side. Like,
coincidentally enough, here, Paul, the 2 post-it notes I happen to pick up. Can you read those team names?
Oh, it's gonna be a few seconds on stream. What? Let me see. I don't know I don't know if you're gonna hold them up again. Let me see. I already want to guess that's like from trios is like probably Triumph and 303 or something. But let me see.
No, is it not popped up yet? I can read it.
No, I say it's a little bit of a delay on mine. I think because I just didn't refresh, so I'm like, I think I ended up way behind.
That they were playing each other, Billy. That's the 2 post-it notes I had in front of my computer.
Oh, was it?
It's Nocturnal and Scion.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah, I just happened to be.
Yo, better keep that post-it note. That's an antique now, dude.
That just happened to be the 2 post-it notes that were sitting in front of my computer. Were Nocturnal and Scion.
They're dead, dude. Oh, there it is. Oh. They're dead now, dude. Oh, that's come back for the podcast. We're going to talk about that more.
Boom! Come back Wednesday for Diva at my podcast.
If there's
we will discuss that whole scenario. If you're curious, come back on Wednesday.
Oh, so don't get me started. Okay, map 3. I'm ready.
Map 3.
Also important always to have that moment of okay, and then you just lock in.
All right, going in game in 3, 2, 1, and we're away. All right, we're back from the half, all tied up 1-1. Here, Toronto Defiant taking on LA Valiant. Valiant looking to keep their win streak alive. Defiant looking to play spoilers, see if they can get their first win here in the month of May, which is when this took place.
Honestly, I'm really impressed how Defiance looked. I mean, obviously losing map number 1 in the fashion they did, I thought might have an opportunity to bring them down, hold them back, but coming out really strong, keeping Valiant, not even from getting first point on Gibraltar, a map that like traditionally is fairly easy, at least get through in that part. I thought maybe they'd get through there, maybe stop around ships, but Defiant holding strong and coming into map number 3 here with a little bit of momentum on their side. New feeling for them this month.
And going back on the defense, looking to put up another big hold here. Beast back onto the Reinhardt to try to hold center platform.
And I like that a lot here. I think, again, we saw the success they had early on where they're able to create different angles of entry for a team fight here. And if for just a second you open up something and someone steps out of one of the 2 shields, KSP is going to put them down. That's just how it is.
Well, and not having the halt from the Orisa means Valiant can easily move on to the Mega. Dreamer was trying to dive onto that center platform, but a good whip shot. Actually, something booped him back. It must have been the rock. Didn't see the damage come through. Either way, he wasn't able to get the position he wanted. Now Dreamer forced into the small room with the Mega. A huge ante, and Defiant's health bars all looking super low. Beast the first to go. Kareem falls. Cruz falls. KSP lighting them up from the high ground. And this is going to be a lightning fast point A for the LA Valiant.
Down goes Defiant there. You're going to set up everyone. Dreamer basically forced the shields into a corner, and then KSP said, all right, open season. I'm going to have at it. And once, again, they were able to chunk them down. You have that incredible cleave damage from Dreamer that really Defiant has no way to generate themselves or counter in any significant way. Open things up, bada bing, bada boom, and they're going to be moving out with a whole lot of time on the clock.
Paul, I'm looking at this ult advantage, and Valiant can absolutely snowball this into point B.
Yeah, and they have to make a run at it here. You have 5.5 minutes to spare. If it goes wrong, you're still looking absolutely fine here. As KSP's going to step on the high ground, has an opportunity to look for some kind of pick. Maybe they can find something.
Nano on to Dreamer, and here we go. Diving in is going to get the Primal Rage built up. Shax is going to use the duplicate on the right hand. A beautiful pin out of the sky. The Earth Shatter onto the Nano Boost Sigma. Looking to get the kill on the Beast. Oh, Beast somehow staying alive, and not for too long. Kariv was able to only put the hills in for so long before the damage overwhelmed him, and oh my goodness, the snowball. It happens, and there's just under 5 minutes left on the time bank for the Valiant.
They have to stop Dreamer. They're just allowing... Obviously, you're thinking, okay, how do you stop KSP? No, you have to stop them opening up the entire team for KSP to just have everything he wants there. He's going to the buffet and saying, give me a helping of everything. And they just keep bringing out trays. Defiant, not how you want to start off a map like this.
Now, Valiant absolutely answered after getting just stymied on Watchpoint Gibraltar. They come back with a vengeance here on Anubis.
They look really, really good. Defiant, it's hard to even say, like, you know, how they turn this thing around. The time bank difference is just so significant. And I mean, they can come back with something of their own similar to what Valiant did, but they haven't done that to this point. And given how the month's been going, I don't know how comfortable they are switching up from what seem to be comfort picks. But they're going to have to try something. If like 2 minutes in, they're still looking at no ticks, they got to make some big, big changes.
Dreamer sticking with the Winston here on the defense, so no changes from the Valiant. Defiant showing us the Hammond. We'll see if Beast does choose to roll out with the Wrecking Ball. Still 13 seconds to change his mind.
That would be what they need, right? You get the pop. Logix looks for the pick. Click foreheads. That's as easy as that. But at minimum, even if they're going to have to find a way to create off angles, even for Kariv, right? You still are shooting into a shield in a bubble. You know, it's not like you're dealing with just like a Zarya or something where you can at least look for some value. You have a lot to cut through, and Kariv, not exactly mobile. You're going to kind of have a hard time finding him an easy angle through this choke.
Valiant looking to put a lot of hurt down in the kill box. Look at Dreamer's ultimate. So much cleave, and he's already halfway to a Primal Rage.
Yeah, and he can have his way. If they could set him up for some early, some angry monkey time and just knock them off the high ground here, they're going to have their way. Cruz, though, does have amplification matrix coming online. Probably first of anything, and Defiant would at least be able to buy time with that.
Well, that is the yin to the yang of Dreamer getting his ult up so fast, right? There was just so much healing to be done for Cruz. That Amp Matrix is ready to go. Logix with a awesome angle up there. Able to put some shots down. Doesn't quite find the final blow. Now here comes the Amp Matrix. Just going to clean off center platform. Allow Defiant a little room to work. Agilities with a nice kill on Shax.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the Matrix exactly they wanted. I thought they could have occupied the high ground a little bit sooner and then moved that out to occupy point, but nonetheless finding a 2-for-1. But here comes Valiant bringing it back.
Yep, finding a pair of kills of their own, and now it's 4v4 left on the objective. Dreamer's going to go ahead and drop the Primal Rage. Beast desperately trying to pin out, but just runs right into a wall. Dreamer decides that he can't overstay his welcome and is going to retreat back just in time as Logix invests the Bob onto the objective. Now Logix moving on to the point. Bob taking a little nap, and Dreamer's going to get the Nano Boost. Dive onto that center platform. It gets pinned all the way back into Mega. That's not the target he wanted. He bit off way more than he could chew in there, and Kariv and Beast combined to just send Dreamer right back to spawn. Big opening here for Toronto.
Yeah, beautiful pin and beautiful positioning. They're recognizing, okay, if he's going to jump in, we're just going to turn around and pin him. We're going to take care of business. Whole team rotates and peels properly here. And they have an opportunity to move on point, set up. Kariv does have the Transcendence available, so if and when Bob returns and they have to deal with stuff, he can cancel out a whole bunch of it.
Now Defiant have played their hand, force Valiant to answer back. Agility is going to use the duplicate onto Sigma here. As they move on to the objective, get their feet planted. Already 2 ticks picked up. Shaz low. Nevix takes him down with the hyperspheres. Now Rain popping rally, dropping onto the objective, trying to hold on as long as possible. That leaves Lastra wide open up on the high ground. Agility's going to swoop in, try to get that kill. So far, Lastra being super elusive while the rest of his team cleans up the front line of Toronto. What looked so good is now turned into a very scrappy fight here. Nevix and Kariv are able to answer back. But here comes KSP on. Oh, despite KSP's efforts, Nevix is going to throw the Gravitic Flux here. Close this thing out. Toronto eventually picking up point A, but man, it took them a lot of time.
Yeah, to borrow a phrase, an absolute fiesta happening there on point A, though. They were able to move forward 4 minutes of time, though. I didn't like how early on, how gun-shy they were. I thought they had high ground really early on. We're talking a couple minutes ago before we broke out into a several-minute brawl, but finally stepping it up, getting aggressive, and when you have to fight, playing aggressive into Dreamer, forcing them away and just pushing them all back into one clump, Defiant finding success, and they were able to do just that.
I agree with Defiant looking a little hesitant, and they've got to put that by the wayside and get decisive here as they approach point B. Being hesitant will only get you destroyed, especially hanging out here. Cruz throwing out the Immortality Field early. This could be a massive opportunity for Valiant to push in. Valiant just going to sit back. Okay, no. Dreamer did dive in onto the back line. Got the nano boost, but gets focused. He's out of sync with the rest of his team. There's nobody there to back him up. Now Beast pushing onto this. Oh, yeah. No, ate a boulder to the face, and Dreamer now back in spawn, but Valiant doing a good job of solving this thing out. Dreamer should return to the fight shortly. Shax is going to use the duplicate onto the Reinhardt. This could be big. Defiant are all caught in this small room. Here comes the Earthshatter out. Transcendence used from Kareem to keep Defiant in this fight.
Bob going to come out here as well just because a whole lot of havoc here, but Lodge is going to answer with his own Bob too. Bob continues in 7th man, coming up big.
The big Omnic Butler finds both tanks of the Valiant. And Agility is going to duplicate the Brig. I love the Brig duplicate. You get so much sustain, so much oomph on the point. You get extra healing. You might even get to pop a little rally in there. And Toronto, on the back of this, have found 2 ticks. Well, just under 1% shy of that second permanent tick. Dreamer does return and find a kill onto the fight. Dreamer pops the Primal Rage. And this just might be the ticket. Valiant should be able to stabilize on the back of this.
Really well played by Valiant, doing sort of your overtime techniques there with that tick, just rotating, making sure they kept one person on at all times. Then once they had the outnumber in the 6v5, Dreamer comes back, able to get in the back line. And even though they were able, you could trade at that point as much as you want with such a significant spawn advantage, able to do that and force Defiant into a really difficult spot. Time is on Valiant's side here.
And I feel like where the first 2 maps were a little bit of the DPS show, we've come into the real tank war as we've moved here into sunny Egypt.
Yeah, they're going to just keep duplicating the Reinhardt. So like you said, that Brig duplication was beautiful here. They're going to keep looking, Shax is going to keep going, duplicating Beast every time. Find the pin, look for a shatter. If you can't block that, ooh, you're going to be in trouble here. They're going to look for that constantly.
Nevix coming in with the Gravitic Flux. I imagine they're going to open up with this. Not a whole lot to stave off the extra damage. Nano Boost used onto a Dreamer to try to initiate from the defense. Valiant looking decisive, and Dreamer able to stay alive this time much better as it was accompanied by the Bob and putting a lot of pressure down onto Toronto. Cruz right there, able to keep the team topped off, and now has Amp Matrix ready to go. Nevix going to respond with a Gravitic Flux of his own. That's going to find a pair, but despite being hurled up into the air, McGravy finds the pick. Agility's trying to save off the aggression as Dreamer moves in and cleans out the cave.
And I was just about to say there, as the fight broke out, right, both teams are armed to the teeth with ultimates. And if you're going to go into the fight with so many, you had to watch your investments. Who's going to invest more? Ultimately, they'll just lose one ultimate, and Nevix will come back a little bit behind. And excuse me, McGravy too, actually. But now when they come back, you're going to have to burn everything, and at least Defiant has something left at their disposal.
Absolutely. They have quite a bit of something, as a matter of fact. 4 ultimates will be ready to go by the time this fight breaks out. Dreamer's been so good with these Primal Rages, though. This is by no means a foregone conclusion. We'll have the rally to Bolstrom. Shax, like you said, is going to duplicate Beast. Almost no doubt in my mind we're going to get that extra Reinhardt coming in.
Last we're probably going to get Nano, though, as the fight goes on. Watch for that later.
Dreamer going to go ahead and pop that Rage into the back. And We're going to get the rally bolstering anybody up. That's going to force a Transcendence out from Kariv. And Agility's this time duplicating the Winston. Popping a beautiful Primal Rage. And Lastro doesn't build up to that Nano. A big priority pick. Oh! Valiant stepped off the point. Valiant!
I'm hesitant to call it a C9, but that's about as textbook as you get. They're winning the fight, and they just move off point there.
Valiant all push into the cave, and Agility just backs up onto the objective and caps.
Yeah, and what really went wrong there ultimately is the fact I called out early on, just as we were cutting into the fight. Lastro had to get that nano quick, and they've got the 92%. It gets instantly wiped. If they play for that, they probably are able to hold. They could just nano Dreamer, cleave through, easy game, and you go home. They're still able to find the picks without it, but they don't have the sustain to remain on point. Get a little bit distracted there, and here we are having to set up on. They've got 5 minutes to hold, but.
Yeah, Valiant were able to get it down to overtime. So at the end of the day, Toronto need to put up an absolute monstrous, impenetrable defense if they expect to even get a draw here on Temple of Anubis, which is the best they can hope for.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got every option in the bank, right? You can play for 6 ults, you can mess around, you've got time to pick this comp, change, build ultimates again, change, and build ultimates again. They just have to keep the ulti economy in a way that allows them to always have something at their disposal. If they're going to invest, they better win. You better have someone on the team not press Q as everybody else. You're always going to need something.
Yeah, Defiant need just supreme discipline to even have a hope at this. Valiant looking to take the 2-1 lead in the series, coming out with Dreamer on the Wrecking Ball. Looking to displace Defiant off of that center platform.
If they get one person off that high ground there, they're going to be cooking with gas in a hurry here, Bull. At minimum, even if he just moves them around a little bit, they can just slow play, build some ultimate. He's going to have one of the fastest ones. So watch Agility. He's going to get that duplication really, really quick. You're already up to 42% as I say that.
Dreamer eating a lot of damage, but taking a lot of aggro. It's allowed the Valiant to surround this center area. And I feel like Defiant cannot hold this for long. It won't take but one clean shot from KSP. Oh, but Agilities takes him down. The threat from the outside now gone. Defiant can focus their attention into this mega room. Logic's picking off Dreamer. Agilities finds the kill on the Shax.
Agility's looking great, right? Able to find that early pick, and then once you get rid of that off angle, you can turn everybody in, converge onto the central point. They're Valiant, and just like that, their ults are ready to rock. Agilities will come back with something we'll probably potentially see a rally here and this fight to match into the nano, keep them alive defensively here, but Defiant about as good as it can get a couple minutes in.
Yeah, already 90 seconds burned off the clock. Valiant making the swap over to the Winston. Dreamer decides he's done with Hammond. Needs something a little bit more consistent, but they lose Shax early in the fight. This is just going to buy more time for Defiant.
And this is as good as it gets. I mean, if you're writing a manual on how to hold for an inordinate amount of time, this is it. Pick after pick after pick, build ultimate, rinse and repeat. Agility's looking really good here. Now, obviously, Frontline holding up super well into this, but how long can they do it? Time is their bigger enemy here, not Valiant.
Agility is such a big brain player, acknowledging they had to close down that flank. Oh no, Valiant trying to push it into the small room, focusing beam right there. They don't stand a chance in that tiny room, Paul.
And why are they? I mean, Dreamer's still hanging out in that side room. KSP going to be chunked out as well. I'm not quite sure if Valiant's just looking for off angles and just generating ults and then come back, but they've got to just group up. Defiant and have all 6 for this next fight, and as long as they all press Q, they're going to have more than enough for a second and third fight coming up here, Bull. And Valiant Shax has to find something, has to get an off angle, find a pick.
And suddenly all that wiggle room that we were talking about before extra innings began, it's gone. You're down to that 2-minute mark, Valiant. You've got to make something happen.
Yeah, look, man, no time left. I got to do something here, and they have to look for something. Here they go.
Defiant's defense going to initiate with the Gritic Flux, and it allows for Agilities to get the easy follow-up kill. Already, you slam him down below half damage, focusing him to so much damage with a nice sleep. Dreamer taking a nap way off the point, and Defiant going to press the issue into the small room. A duplicated Primal Rage coupled with the Earth Shatter is going to net them a whole host of kills. And Defiant absolutely showing off here on the defense. Can they hold this? This would be insane.
So far, all signs lead me to believe that they can, but, and the caveat, but they use everything in that fight there, ball. And that's fine if it's final fight or second to last, but you've got to hold it here. And you have to recognize Valiant's coming back with 4 ultimates if they pace this correctly. If Dreamer and KSB just cleaving spam just a little bit, 4-0. I'm going to take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And so I like Valiant's opportunity here, but they haven't done anything to prove it yet. But here comes Shax, maybe finally going to get that pick. Do his Agility's impression.
This is certainly Valiant's best chance right here, right now. Primal Rage ready to go. Duplicate onto the Brig. Beautiful choice as the Brig follows Dreamer in. Pops the Primal Rage in the tiny room. Oh my goodness, Toronto. You backed yourself into a corner, Dreamer. Happy to send you back to spawn. Valiant take the 2-1 lead in the series. Man, that was a great hold by the Defiant, though.
Yeah, Dreamer can't be a whole lot happier being the angry monkey. They're just going to get in, find 3. Like you said, toss them into a corner, take care of business. If you're Defiant, you're going to go back and watch that and go, why the hell did we use 6 ultimates there when we had everything handed to us? They could have won that fight probably with 2. Instead, 6 Qs later, they're going to be losing map number 3.
And that goes back to that discipline. Toronto looked so disciplined throughout the first 4 minutes of that hold, and then throw all 6 ultimates into that fight. I don't know if they lost track of time or what, but it looks like they thought it was final fight. Like, that's how it came across to me, exactly as you were talking about. It's like, guys, you still got to hold for another 75, 90 seconds. And, I mean, it just,
And those are unfortunately some of the signs. It almost becomes, is that the cause or the symptom of having such a long cold streak there, right? So you think about what happens when things are going wrong, and why are things going wrong? Lack of discipline. And we sort of saw it right there. Saw it on map 1, saw it come back on map number 3, but they've got a chance to bring it back on map number 4, though, but they're going to have their heels backed up here. Match point is online.
I think that's a good place to call it right there.
That felt good. That was a good map.
That was a good map. Wolf coming through with tier 1 sub. 3 months. What is up, my dude? I appreciate the support, man. It's good to see you. Paul, that one felt really good.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny. I'm sort of happy, and I'm actually kind of liking doing color.
You're really good at it.
Thank you. I like, when I get to talk to Boop, I might actually have to have a conversation about this, because there's just certain things I think I like better about it, and that I enjoy more than doing play-by-play. Like, I can't do color for League. It's just, I'm not. People play that for a decade. I don't have the institutional knowledge, but I have it for Overwatch, at least, to be able to do it. And some of it I actually just like doing more, honestly.
And I mean, again, my obs is not the best. Saw some flubs there on Anubis, but
I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even notice. Like, there wasn't even a second where I was like, man, I wish I could see X better. It didn't even cross my mind, honestly.
Good. I didn't want that to be the thing that set us back.
No,
I will say, watch using the word here. It's a crutch for me too, but try to eliminate the word here. And even, I mean, the pros do it. It's one of those I've started to really look for, and it's kind of start pushing buttons in my brain, like, this got this ultimate here, and they got this kill here, and moving on to this point here. It's like just to eliminate that word.
I feel that way. So the word I already ixnayed, I have to work out here. I'm going to write that down as you say that. I don't think you do it, but for anyone still watching, is the word actually. Don't use it, because people just use, actually what, like, it has to be as opposed to something else or some other expectation,
right?
And people would just say it, and I'm like, oh no, that was actually a great kill. Why? It was obviously a great kill. What were you expecting? Like, that's it's a partial pet peeve. Partial, there's a lot of like pro things that say don't use the word actually, but yeah, that's one of them that people like. Just, I'm like, don't use that word.
On the side of is the notorious one in Overwatch.
Oh. I know, it's bad. I did it a couple of times there too. Yeah, on this side, we've got some ultimates here. And you're there like,
3 ultimates ready on the side of Valiant, as opposed to the Valiant have 3 ultimates. Like, and it's just that comes down to just not proper English, but more engaging English, where. I know, Billy. But just keeping it active. Active verbs are always more engaging and tell a better story. And this is just an important aspect across the board. So the Valiant have 3 ultimates just sounds more powerful than there are 3 ultimates available on the side of Valiant. Like
It takes up less airspace. It gets to the
whoa,
point quicker. You know who you're talking about.
your mic just got
Um,
real loud.
oh, whoops, sorry. I didn't realize my levels would be so different. I switched so I
That's
could sit down. Whoops.
Oh no, you're
Um,
fine. You're fine. I just need to turn you down a little bit so you're not redlining here on stream.
but that's the other thing too. And you see that a lot in writing, like way in English courses they tell you use
Yes,
active verbs
active verbs, and
instead of
it's
passive verbs. Like, oh yeah,
correct.
there has been, he has, since has, because. It's like, no,
Yes.
who did what? Defiant has 3 ultimates. Like, yeah. But I'm writing the note. Part of why I switch mics so I can sit down and I need to
Can
figure out
you
a better way.
elaborate on that shape? If the number matters as much as how it compares with, you mean the number of ultimates? So not so much if it's a 6-on-6, but what ultimates and what ultimates are not available, because
Yes, in part, yeah.
that's certainly a point of what you don't have as far as ult bank and cooldowns for that matter is just as important as what you do have. Well, it's not it's not a matter of how many, but what to look for. So it's what ultimates are available are gonna
No,
kind
yeah,
of
no, I totally agree.
predetermine how the fight's gonna unfold. I mean, you do have an order of operations in current meta. I mean, if you have Flux and Blade, they're going to come in and use the Flux first, try to get Immortality Field out, and then it leaves the room open for the Blade. And getting that Immortality Field out is super important. That's probably the most important cooldown. I mean, I almost always call that because it's so critical to the flow of the fight.
And like I even know, so like part of the only like the one what those was me, I think Matt, the telling them the number exactly. The highlight, like in that last fight, it was like they're
Good
coming
point.
back. They have 6 ultimates and now they have 0. The number mattered because they burned 6 when they should have burned 2.
Correct.
But if it was they burned 2, I would want to talk about which 4 they kept and if that was enough. So I wouldn't even have said the number. Would have been like, okay, well they still have rally, so they have a defensive ult, and they still have Bob, so they have suppression.
And why that's important and what they're looking to do with it. So you can
Yeah.
give the audience something to look for. If attacking teams coming in with Blade, but the defense has Gravitic Flux, that's important. If the defense has Transcendence in this instance, that's important, and that's going to be the counter, because then your win condition becomes, can the attacking team get Transcendence out before they use Blade? And yeah, anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly. We're setting up an expectation that can either be met or
Correct.
not.
Correct.
And if and then yeah, but if to Shape's point, if we're just saying the numbers, we're not actually giving something to watch. We're just, to your point, yeah, we're just saying what's on screen, and they already see that. We want to always be telling something that's not already readily available.
Such a good point. Such a good point. Man, this has been awesome. I've actually learned a lot here today. Like, I feel just casting 3 maps with you, I feel like I've upped my game. So
This was a lot of fun, and it felt good to cast Overwatch again. I was worried I'd come back to it and be like, I don't know, not like it. I don't know what I was thinking, but no,
I
this was a blast.
I loved your color. Honestly, I thought it was really quite clean.
Thank you.
Other suggestion would just be, and this is something Hex told me, is on Assault in particular, once somebody caps point A, just immediately start talking about point B. Like, whatever happened, I mean, there might be something worth analyzing in that first fight, but what is about to go into point B is so important, such as the snowball that we saw happen. That was a story point to highlight that I could see coming. I mean, as they were leaving point A, you could see that happening for the Valiant in that series. The writing was on the wall for that 5-minute time bank, and I felt like as casters, that's something we could have emphasized more.
Got it. Yeah.
Just something to be aware of.
Yeah, we could have built the hype up for that initial fight, and built up the hype and then address whether if they won, keep it rolling, and if they lose it, then be like,
right. The snowball
okay.
potential, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, that came to fruition.
Yeah, and you did a good job too, because I recapped and then you spun it forward quick. And it was like, oh, okay, and then we got it rolling. So that was also a good pickup by you to be like, I have enough time to do this. Let's get this back on the rails to where we want it to be, and that was a good pickup. So that was a really good job by you.
Cheers, I appreciate it. And yeah, that was an area. Yeah, we could have gotten into as color. You could have gotten into that a little sooner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. I could have gone right into that to just start the spin from there, and then got it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean, I've been casting like pretty much 5 games, 4 or 5 games a week for months now, if not more. So I'm
That's
very,
awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, I feel blessed to have gotten so many opportunities through. I mean, really since March. Since March 1st, it's been pretty nonstop. So
That's
it's,
awesome. I'm hoping to. Well, you obviously know my hope, and just get back into doing the Overwatch more. It'd be a lot of fun.
dude, you're a fucking natural.
Hey, what? Like I said, I'll wait. We'll keep waiting on the call, and then we'll get it. Then that's when the real fun and celebrating starts happening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me on, dude. I'm
My
glad we could do
pleasure.
this.
Yeah, thank
We're
you for
gonna
joining me.
Let's do this again soon. Like,
I'm honestly thinking this is a Monday thing. Like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be with you, but I've enjoyed this so much. I like the idea of just doing this every Monday.
that you
Even,
should.
I mean, even if it's just doing reviews or practice casts with anybody that wants to practice, whether it's, veteran regulars like Billy or, new people in CGL or, I mean, who knows? I don't know. This has been awesome. This was such a good idea. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. I will. I'll be back on the pod. We'll be back here Wednesday. You guys know where to find me at Paulie C. In the meantime, you'll have Boston for the rest of his stream this evening. And yeah, and I'm sure I'll be messaging you later. I'm sure.
We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night, my friend.
You too. See you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a quick pee break. Let's see, what was that? I would definitely tune into more of these to learn more about what you guys do. Awesome. That's great feedback. Thank you, Shape. I appreciate you hanging out with us today. But I'm gonna take 5. Y'all go rehydrate. I'm gonna look at a VOD review from Zach Hamwell, another caster from the Elo Hell and CGL circuit. And I believe we're going to look at a demo reel from Spacey Casts when we return. So. All right. We're back, my friends. I think we're going to get Chef Billy on the call here. Let me take a look. Okay, let's get a little tag up there. There we go. We're going to start off taking a look at Spacey's demo reel, which frankly has inspired me to build one of my own. After, like I was talking about, I've been so busy since March. I like to think I'm improving with each cast, so I've been kind of delaying putting together a reel until I was at a place I was, genuinely happy with my skills as a caster. But getting the first one out, I mean, it's just best to get the skeleton out there. Getting the first one out is always going to be the hardest, and then you can replace as needed. Then it's easy to look at the clips and be like, nope, I've got one better than that now, and just copy paste it out and keep upping each clip individually. Billy.
What up?
Hi, sir.
I'm doing good.
Welcome to the stream.
I was watching the stream. I was absolutely loving all that. Just hearing another voice that we haven't heard before. As far as like casting like this, and Paulie and I are actually going to do something. He actually mentioned it, but we're going to do something tomorrow morning. Trying to get the rust off, as he put it in our DMs. And yeah, I was really loving the content from that, man. That's some good stuff. Not gonna lie.
He's really good.
He's really good.
He's really good.
Stay away from my color, Paulie. No, but I mean, he's really good. He brings a very polished presentation to it.
Yes, precisely.
I'm absolutely digging it. I love it. I mean, it's good stuff. So hopefully we can get all the rust off and get him into EO Hell at some point in the future. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Have all of us there. All
right. Let me get Watch Together set back up so that we can see this at the same time.
It's 10:46 p.m.
Oh, I don't want to see the video of the parrot.
The parrots are cute.
It's apparently when you open Watch Together, the default video is a parrot talking to Siri or
Very nice. Very nice.
Alexa or one of them.
No, I'm really interested also about Spacey's Reel because I actually previewed one of the earlier iterations of it. Because we have cast together, he and I have gotten very friendly. It's pretty awesome. He's a pretty good kid, man.
Oh, Spacey's great.
I think he's got a massive future. I think he and Ocean have a huge talent ceiling moving up in the world of casting, and I'm very excited to see where they go.
Agreed. Lot of potential. Lot of just base fundamentals already there.
Yeah, from the last time that I cast with him in Open Division, he did, and the EBC, he did that with Naori Mizuki.
Mm-hmm. Sam?
And just absolutely crushed it the other morning. Sunday morning it was. It was just,
nice.
He just absolutely
nice.
crushed it. I was so proud of him because it was early and they pinged me like 5:45 in the morning. And of course, my old ass is asleep at that time. And seeing if I could come in because apparently she was ill and she went through a 2.5-hour cast just like a pro. And I mean, big props to both of them. We're expanding our circle of friends too. It's so awesome casting with all these different people. Like I got to cast with Ollie. You and I were talking about this. I got to cast with Ollie Manser, and whoo, that man has some energy. Oh my god! I thought I was hyper. No.
And then you cast with Ollie.
No. It was so much fun.
Well, and I had the pleasure of casting with LaFawn. this past week, and holy cow, talk about just polished to the utmost. He was such a joy to cast with, just so easy to cast with.
Yeah, that's the word I want to use when I cast with Ollie. It was easy.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about certain other things off stream. And I mean, just getting these different viewpoints, these different styles, and us being able to react to them, I think is part of our growth that we have experienced since we've been kind of split up as a duo. For the better. I mean, you will cast anytime we can together, but I mean, for both of us, I think this has been a huge learning experience and a huge amount of growth for both of us, and it's just been the best thing that could have happened. I was so nervous going into Elo Hell, going into Get Good, that I wasn't going to be able to mesh with the other casters, and no, I was absolutely wrong. I've actually learned so much, and it is part of why I think I'm moving along in the casting world. And you had a meteoric rise. I had like a rocket launcher. That's how I explain it. And my boosters kind of kicked in a little bit, and I got a little higher. And I mean, I may have not had the atmosphere breaking velocity off the ground, but man, I think we're both getting to a place where people are recognizing us, and it happened. Like Bane fan, like the whole OTPOG, which I call Avoided Junior, because I like Minami was in there, Hempy was in there,
right? You had the Avoided crew in there.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking like, oh come on, you can't tell me this isn't their junior team. You can't.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean,
they're cheering them on. Like, come on, guys, you don't have to play meta. You can do it. You can win without playing meta.
No, and I came in there and like Minami's like, oh, Chef Billy's here. Pog.
Nice.
Chef Billy's casting. I'm like, what? And I only did the one game for them, and yeah, so we're making our marks, and I don't ever really gush about what we're doing. I try to keep it all contained and really, I mean, between us, I mean, I gush, but I never really say it out loud. And today I feel good about where we're sitting at. I think it's a long burn, but I think we're gonna get there.
It's that the last pushes take the longest, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what Boop said to me.
Yeah,
he said this next jump for you is going to be the longest. It's going to be the most frustrating. It's not going to happen as fast as everything else did.
Right.
And since I'm okay with that now, and since I'm getting the feedback that I was really needing.
See, if I'm not rising on a meteoric level, I feel like I'm not doing it right.
I know, but you're a freak of nature, Jeff. Jesus.
Oh, you're too kind. I think
there's the self-deprecating again. It's your stream. You're allowed to do, but I can still get to call you out.
No, it's true though, because it's after just so much continual growth, to have it not be as immediate is a tough pill to swallow. Might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but something along those lines.
Yeah. And I mean, I never thought I'd get this far. That's what
right?
I kept reminding myself. When I didn't get to Open Division or when I didn't get to Trials the first time.
Dude, I mean, Elo Hell was a dream. Where it's like that seemed like off in the distance and something huge to work towards, and it was just like boom, we're right in there, right in the thick of it. No.
Do you know what would be awesome? Would be our origin story.
Well, coincidentally enough, obviously, I started on Elo Hell Pugs, so it kind of came full circle there.
Right. And I mean, I started just being pissed off that Tier 1 wasn't being casted in CGL in Season 5, and I literally got told by Swift, and I think it was Skate also, well, if you want it done, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Fine, I will.
Fine.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, that's how it happened.
I'm rocking the CGL shirt, and just on pure coincidence, just happened to be the shirt on top in my drawer. And I was like, all right, that's fitting, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been it's been a hell of a journey.
It has. It certainly has.
It's been 14 months. I've been doing this 14 months, but honestly, when we got thrown into the maelstrom that was CGL multi-tier season 7,
yeah, that was 3 months of cramming and intense growth. The change from March to May was absolutely palpable.
I actually went back and watched Allium versus Apollo Tier 4, our first preseason match, and I don't recognize myself anymore.
Yeah.
And taking that long look back, even though it was just the beginning of March or middle of March, just the growth that I have experienced, and you have gotten so much better too. And for everybody that's out there listening, or if you listen at a later point, don't be afraid to shoot your shot.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And I shot my shot with BHP. I looked up to him so much, even though he's a play-by-play. I just loved his delivery, and he was low enough in the area, but high enough for me that I that was the person I wanted to talk to, and I wanted to get a VOD review from. And the fact that he not only immediately granted it, but a couple days later we did it, I was on the moon. And ever since then, that's where I think all of our, we did the Labasco review together.
Dude, shit, when me and Ocean had the review with Hex, it was in early January. We sent him the footage that we got reviewed was from the D9 tournament.
Yep.
Like, I am anxious, and that was my first VOD review, and it was with freaking Hex. Like, looking back, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Props to Airborne on that one. He's the one that kind of pushed me out of the nest a little bit on that one. So big props to Airborne for getting that initiated.
Yep.
But that opened up my eyes so much. Like that, and that's another, don't be afraid to reach out for VOD reviews. Me and Billy are happy to do them if you're a newer caster and want some feedback. But also, the contenders casters, even the owl casters like Hexagrams are very happy to pass along the knowledge they learned. They're enthusiastic about bringing up the next generation of casters and sharing what they've figured out, because it's this whole thing is still in its infancy. This whole industry is still in its infancy. So
it's so true, and that's what BHP said to me. He's like, I have to let the ladder down to people below me,
right?
Because that's what happened with me. He's like, I'm just passing it on.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm trying to start here, frankly.
And
maybe we can start passing that along to people who are just getting started.
And that's why I said, we're gonna have mentoring in our stream team for the CGL. I'm gonna get with the color casters. You've expressed an interest of doing it with the play-by-plays.
Absolutely.
So this is a real thing, and I really want to bring up the next batch.
What's up, user? Thanks for stopping by, man.
User,
appreciate the kind words. That kind of encouragement makes me feel mighty. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I get random DMs saying, "Dude, what a cast!"
Yeah.
Or it's just like I'm still like I'm not. I don't know how to process it sometimes.
Oh, it all matters. Like all the love, all the feedback, man.
Yes,
it helps so much. I sent you a watch together link. That is Spacey's reel.
I'm sitting here. I'm just waiting for you to play it.
Okay, I just want to make sure you had it pulled up and ready to go before I got into this thing here. I'm actually going to go top off my coffee. I basically spent the break setting up for us doing this, so I actually need to go refill my beverage real quick. So entertain stream for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh gosh, me entertaining stream for 30 seconds.
Entertain stream.
What could I possibly talk about? We could talk about skunk moments.
Yes, there's plenty of those. Oh my goodness.
Behind the scenes skunk moments. Trial of Champions was pretty fun. There's something I can talk about that maybe not a lot of people out there had a chance to watch. Bull Skunk and I had a very strong appeal to this charity casting. I got put in there because somebody I actually earned my spot on that one. Yeah, I earned my spot on that one. And Bullskuck and I actually got to cast together for the first time since CGL had ended, and we took to it like dogs with a leash. I mean, it was one of the most gratifying casts that I've ever done in my life, and it was so much fun. And it was for a great cause, and it's going to come back around again in November, I believe. And I hope to God that we get to do it again, because
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't get Trial of Champions.
We had fun with it. We did well. We casted well. We really put the
shave my head.
Yeah, you shaved your head. You've got to stay with the shaved head, by the way.
You like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
I like where the Bambi fur stage you're at right now.
The Bambi fur?
Because it has just enough texture to it that you can see it on camera. But I know that you're not sweating a ton anymore, and we can actually see like your facial expressions because you're not covered by a mop.
Yeah, you get my $10 million eyebrows.
Which are for sale.
Absolutely. Anybody's got spare $10 million lying around, and once my eyebrows, they're all yours.
Yes. Yes, but I mean, wait for Tournament of Champions or Trial of Champions again. Do it for cancer, and
I know that was a blast. That was such a
blast.
That was such an honor to be a part of. That kind of stuff is what drew me to doing. There's a lot of aspects of this that I really love. I love the storytelling. I mean, I was talking about being an animation major earlier. I mean, that was why I got into that in college. Like I came out of high school knowing that's what I wanted to do. And I love the storytelling aspect, but to couple that with the community outreach that's available in this community and in this industry is just a phenomenal thing. And getting to do stuff like raise money for pancreatic cancer, like it's an amazing opportunity to really change the world. And even if it's just in our small little drop in the bucket kind of way, but every drop matters. Will you be streaming any of the CCC games? Yes, we're planning on doing the grand finals. Well, I'm planning on doing the grand finals. Actually, I haven't confirmed with Billy on that, but I'm casting the grand finals for CCC.
I would like to. If anybody out there wants me to do it, please let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can work all that out.
Yeah.
I think it's this month, is it not? I hope it's in August.
I think it is.
Because August is actually pretty wide open for me, where I've been just crammed. I can't tell you how many. I mean, Jesus. What have I done in the past 2 months? We've got Trial of Champions, Prospect Cup, Solstice Showdown, Get Good, Pluto Cup.
Nocturnal Cup?
That's Prospect. That's Prospect.
Okay,
Nocturnal's Prospect Cup. It's September. Ooh. We'll see. We're going to have Get Good starting up again in September. So I'll make sure we leave that slot open. Oh, and not to mention Contenders Trials.
Yes. And Open Division.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it's been a busy couple months. Shit.
it's been a little busy there. I didn't have the same load, but I mean I've been doing like I don't know how I got on with EBC, but they really like me over there, and
dude, you're refining your chops, and you're a badass.
I'm refining so are you.
There you go. Well, you're saying you didn't know how you got on it. I'm just saying that's how you got on it.
No, it just happened one day. They reached out to me and said, "You want to come cast this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." Because and I got Angry Titans in my first game, and then Ender Dragons the next game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll make sure and keep the day open in September. I appreciate you letting me know, user.
Yeah, user. Mark me down for that too, for sure. For sure.
All right. So we're going to take a look at a casting demo reel here from Spacey. Our match this week will most likely decide number 1 seed. Ooh, okay. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Go get it. Destroy them. Make them die.
Wow. Wow, you just need to talk in that voice all the time.
Oh, really? It's because I leaned into the mic.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. And there were 4 ultimates online.
I'm not sure what they were planning to get out of that immortality field.
Oh, that definitely deserves some billies. Well put, user. Well put. I'll second that. I second that notion. All right, so back to the point at hand. We're looking at a casting demo reel here from Spacey. You'll see his Twitter here in a moment, but go follow him at SpaceyCasts. It's something I haven't even done yet. I would say it, but just to reiterate, like this has inspired me to put my reel together. And throughout the past 6 months, I feel like I've just continued to grow. So I've been hesitant to put together a demo reel until I was at a place that I was really happy with my skills. But I think we're about there. I think it's time. The month of August is looking to be a bit of a reprieve. So it's time to get some other work done. And we're going to take a look at Spacey's reel here. Just see what we like and don't like about it and take a look. Very talented up-and-coming caster. Keep an eye out for Spacey. This dude's going to make waves.
Mm-hmm. I really love working with him. I've done it in open division a few times now, and it's been a joy. The growth for him is exponential, kind of like us in the beginning. I mean, he's learning so much on the fly, and he takes every little note that either a producer or a director or myself gives him. It's just all grist into his mill, and he's just forming a lovely career out of this.
So without further ado, let's take a look at his demo reel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
There you are.
Welcome to the CGL Tier 6 PlayStation 4 EU Final. My name is Spacey. I'm joined with Billy. Billy, say hi, man. Yeah, no ultimates to really work with coming up onto this next attack, so it was just going to be pure mechanics and skill as a team in this situation. Akash is now taking this position of dominance on the right-hand side of the shrine. He's being met by the opposition, Orisa, and Difference once again proving why he is the difference. Takes down his opposition, Ash, and this just should be them taking down the Immortality Field and just winning this fight slowly but surely. 303 Esports not looking in a good position here, Billy, as Unsung are just cleaning their way through them.
Oh, this rotation from Team Nocturnal was so beautiful, but unfortunately, Denrick does get taken down. Earthshack comes into the back lines too. This is going to be Big Faded putting on an absolute masterclass at the moment. Finds the third of his fight and the fourth. Oh my lord, that was incredible. That's exactly what you want from your main tank plays there, Billy, and that's just leading from example. That's so good.
But as soon as people get to their trusted loadouts, I can guarantee we'll be seeing the same sort of stuff we've seen from the couple seasons. You know, they get a 10k as quick as possible. You get your first loadout and then you wait for the second one to naturally spawn in, and then you've got your full class ready for the rest of the game to get as many kills as humanly possible.
Blade coming on out. He finds the Baptiste already. Oh my word, this Genji's been unstoppable so far, Billy. He comes on, he slashes, he dashes, goes on through, and oh, that's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I believe the patch was maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks ago now, where the Grau got absolutely nerfed. I mean, we spoke about it last stream callback. It was an absolute weapon. I mean, I don't think we saw anybody not using the Grau.
Ooh, not a man of the hour on this Brigitte. Shuts down the Genji before it can even begin. Whip shots him away and even gets a second one to his name in this fight. 2 whip shot kills, and I think this is going to be it, Billy. They may just be able to pull this back, win this fight, and also win the series. 98% approaching, nobody can touch. This is it. This is them. They've got the time, they've got the presence, and that's it. 100-0 on the last map, picking up this map win. Nocturnal stay strong. They get this win, and they progress in the winners bracket.
Remaining, ladies and gentlemen, blink and you'll miss it. This could be the last fight in the entire series. Goldier gets a huge big South to shut him. Kadeem gonna come in. Will it find any? No. Alvis Slays throwing one of his own for Keita. Finally gets his soundbite off. This could be huge for them. Oh my god. Oh Tony, the man, the myth, the legend finds 2 people with that South to shut, and this could be it. Ladies and gentlemen, MME, they win the entire thing, the grand shebang. They get the $1,500, they get the bragging rights, they get everything. Damn, what a great performance.
All right. All in all, super strong. First thoughts, I like the length. I think the length is perfect. You don't need any more than that. You'll see people that try to put out like 5 and 6 minute long demo reels, and it's just, you can, I've heard from talent coordinators themselves that they can tell what a caster brings to the table really within the first 60 to 90 seconds. So having 2.5 minutes, I think, is a perfect length. I also really like the way that the demo reel seems to flow from introduction to an early stage fight to a middle of the match fight and then a closing fight at the end. I think that's really nice. That's how I've always wanted to put mine together, and it gives it a wonderful flow.
Yeah, the one thing that I told him, because I'd actually seen this prior, he's cleaned it up a little bit. The volume at certain points, and now that I think back on it, it wasn't his microphone that it was the issue. It was the connection to the clean feed.
Right.
That was the issue. So I take back that statement, Spacey, on your cast. But I mean, I like the flow, and I like where he put the Warzone clips in there as well.
And see, I'm not too sold on that. Um, I like the Warzone clips, but I feel like it detracted from my taste. I feel like it detracted from the other. It felt a little disjointed, and the audio. I mean, ideally, you want all of the talking to be at the same level. So I definitely agree the audio could be a little bit more refined, but like you say, some of that's out of his hands. I think if you're gonna put the Warzone clips in there, I would have put the intro clip perhaps a little sooner, because you're already into action, and then you kind of cut back to a camera shot and where you're just kind of talking about what's going to happen, and then you get back into the action again. I felt like that could have been edited a little different, and it might plus it a bit. So I wasn't totally sold on the Warzone clips. I got to be honest.
I'll agree to disagree on that one. I think that he's trying to show his versatility, and really, he put it into 5 distinct sections. If I think back on it properly, it's Overwatch, long extended clip of Warzone, Overwatch, another shorter Warzone clip, and then he ends on his strength, which is Overwatch. I don't know if he might even consider maybe doing 2 reels.
That's what I was
Overwatch.
thinking. If you're going to do that, do 2 reels. Do a Warzone reel and do an Overwatch reel. That was my thoughts on that.
Yep, and I see him trying to do it for probity and casting as wide of a net as possible with the reel that he has right now. I think that if he's going Overwatch centric, then he needs to have just the Overwatch as one, and then have Warzone standalone by itself.
I think I would agree with that. And I mean, that's a tough call, because if you're just going to put one reel up on, say, your Twitter or your website or something, you just have one link that's just a click all, then it's better to have everything in one to where you show that versatility. If you're going to send a demo reel in and applying for a particular casting gig, then I believe you'd want that demo reel to be specific to that game. So it really does depend on how you're intending to use the reel.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you say, ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? Have the one, like you said, on his Twitter, so that a potential employer could come by and see his versatility. And then, when he actually sends the reel out, having them split into separate. Yeah.
That's kind of my thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
The casting itself is pretty darn good. There is a bit of he kind of trips over himself a little bit in the first clip.
In the Nepal clip, yeah.
Yeah, which isn't ideal, but the casting itself is darn strong. I love his adjectives when saying, taking up this dominant position. It really gives strength to the casting and to the action on screen. It was easy to tell what exactly was going on, even in just small snippets. So that's, huge props there. The casting itself is really solid.
Yep. 100% agree on that. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of his, and I can't wait to see where he goes. So, well done, Spacey.
Good stuff. Well done indeed. Well done. Applause.
Yep.
Inspiring. Downright inspiring for me to put my own together. So, nothing but props. It's our point is just to kind of dissect and see where we could plus things for everybody involved. So, if you haven't put together a reel yet, kind of, maybe know what to focus on. And then, for Spacey to plus his own reel. But I haven't made one myself, so I would have critiques of my own reel. So that's
same. I'm trying to get together a reel. And I was really gung-ho about it. I guess it was mid-May. And then I'm just like, no. I'm about to go through another transformation, another level up here.
It's like buying a suit when you're 14, right? Like you're just going to grow out of it. Like that's kind of how I felt. Yeah.
I'm ready to take the training wheels off now, and
I think we're there.
Really put my strongest efforts forward. I've got a reel worthy coming from the stuff that I did at EBC last weekend.
And I have heard it can be. If the match is strong enough, it can be really good to put everything in from one match, because it shows not only is there a continual story and you keep the names the same, and it looks like all his Overwatch clips were from 2 series or from 2 matches, which is awesome. I love that because it shows that you didn't have just this one cool moment out of 12 matches and you're having to splice together. Like, you put together a solid series and you could just show the highlights of that series. I think it conveys every series can have that level of strength.
Yep.
So I really like that.
I mean, he also showed that he can cast not only on PC but also on PlayStation, because
Right.
that's what the last one was.
That was
the one that you produced.
Yeah.
And I, a funny story, Spacey. I'm sorry in advance before this ever goes out. I'm sorry in advance. Do you remember the first map of Lijiang at Gardens, where he was going like 300 miles an hour? He could not stop talking because of the stall. I thought his face was going to explode. He was so red-faced.
Like, breathe, Spacey, breathe.
Breathe, Spacey. I had to tell him.
We
in the break.
We both did. Yeah, that was back when I was wearing all the hats. I produced and observed that match.
You did.
Yep.
You did. And I mean, it was God. Sorry.
He's cleaned that up. Well, I mean, even I think back to Uber. You think back to season 1 of Owl with Mitch Leslie, Uber, and he would rap God a lot. And it was cool to a point. People even made memes of Eminem's song "Rap God," playing in the background with him doing his casting over it, and everybody like, "Oh, that's cool." But at the end, his style now is way better and way more refined, and he doesn't do that anymore. So, I mean, even on a professional level, and with what many consider the best caster in the world, certainly the best caster in Overwatch. I mean, I would put others up there as well. But many would definitely consider Uber the best caster in Overwatch, and he still struggles with that, or at least has evolved from that. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. All around, very good.
Very, very good. I was very impressed with it when I first saw it.
Very good. You want to take a look at Hamwell's VOD?
Absolutely. I love Hamwell. Hamwell and I actually cast together in CGL a couple times.
Let's take a look at Hamwell's VOD and see what we can dissect here. Let's see. I'm going to send him a DM because he said he was going to try to hop in here. I would love for him to be in chat so we can kind of discuss.
Yes. That would be poggers indeed. Hamwell's another one of us CGLs that have made the transition to Elo Hell. And, he kind of, I think he was more focused on competition during the last season of CGL rather than casting. I think he casted a couple times.
Right, but he was competing as well.
He was competing. I was talking about something else. The best thing that ever happened was me leaving competition and just focusing on casting, because I played the game 2 years, and I think that I don't know how much more, unless they put like new metas and stuff. I mean, that's the other thing is that, we have to learn the new metas when they come out.
Oh, that's part of the fun. You kidding? Watching Double Bubble evolve has been an absolute joy.
You call it Double Bubble, I call it Chinese Dive.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's Chinese dive.
I mean,
but it's not exclusive to China anymore, right? I mean, it seemed to derive from Chinese contenders for sure. Team CC to be specific.
Yep, it was Team CC that developed it, and I mean that's where, and that's why support tier 2 is so important. Tier 2, tier 3.
Tier 2 is amazing.
That it's where the metas actually really 90% of them, I would say, would actually come from.
Goats was developed in contenders. Yep. I mean, the whole Clockwork Vendetta comp, kind of what has evolved into Avoided started with Clockwork Vendetta. Mini-Me was on both teams. Yep. And it's I love the meta-breaking style. And this is one thing I was actually talking about with LaFawn. The match I cast with LaFawn was... Here, let me get back to my notes and see who Avoided was playing. I'm sorry it's escaping me at the moment. But it was both teams were running anti-meta comps, and it was the way they put pressure on that was just so fascinating to me, because it wasn't a build up. Oh yes, it was AKA. No wonder I couldn't remember their name. It was
Kind of Anhung.
yes, exactly.
Oh, no idea.
So neither of them ran meta comps. And neither what that creates was a very different style of playing Overwatch. And it's really fun to see this develop. And LaFawn straight up asked me towards the end of the match, before we were kind of waiting on the interview to happen. We were getting the interview set up and getting the player in. And he was like, "What's your big takeaway from this series?" And I was like, "My big takeaway is we think we've got it all figured out, and we don't. Like, there is still so much more room to grow and evolve in the game of Overwatch that we absolutely do not have this thing 100% figured out." I mean, going into double shield, people, you want to... You play the stagnant style, you trade cooldowns, who can break shield first, who can get IF out first, and there's who can get your ultimates built up faster, and then it's a matter of executing with your ultimates properly, good ult rotation, and good ult economy so that you're saving ults for next fight. This is pretty much the general structure of Overwatch as we know it. Avoided and AKA brought this method of continual pressure, of using ults on cooldown, not looking to get team wipes, not even really looking to get opening picks, but it was about keeping the pressure constant and not allowing your opponent any room to breathe or any room to find rhythm. And it was just this constant disruption that it was an amazing... It was amazing stylistic change. It's really something we've never seen before. What's up, Big Sam? Thanks for stopping by, my friend.
Hi, Big.
And back to the original point, that's the magic of Tier 2. Like, that they have that creativity mixed with the skill level. I mean, you've got players in contenders that are absolutely skilled enough to be in Overwatch League. They're just not 18 yet. And so you get to see these players that are absolutely fucking top notch mechanically and game awareness and just insane gamers. And they're just not old enough yet. But you still get to see that skill level mixed with the freedom to be creative and innovative. And it's, dude, support Tier 2 all the way.
Support Tier 2 all the way. And I mean, specifically avoided, Mini-Me and Tractor Kid, the Orisa, the Orisa and Ball combo.
Yep.
They ran that as their tank line because we're both tank mains. And what OTPOG did is they ran Ball Hog.
Yeah, little Ball Hog torture, sure.
And they ran a Sombra and a Genji with it. They ran a Torb and a Genji with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually
and
have played against it. No,
excuse me. Sorry.
Sometimes they would bring out a Sombra variant into it. It was so creative, though, and I mean, their opponent had no idea which way to look. And I mean, they ran it against a very solidly put together double shield meta.
Actually, we saw a lot of Ball Hog from AKA as well. They were using the Hog to counter Pharah, of all things. Their Hog kept hooking the Pharah out of the sky over and over again. Yezen, who's an absolute, all-star Pharah, had no room to work. It was really kind of nuts to see.
Yeah, that's the same thing we saw. We saw the team that was playing against OTPOG. They actually played into the Hog, and God, I'd have to go back and look and see who it was. But he was absolutely insane. And then Fame 1, he was playing the ball. They were constantly focusing down the Pharah in the sky.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do you do this? How are you able to do this? And that's something that Ollie and I were trying to wrap our heads around. Is how are they getting this kind of hook accuracy? How are they waiting, knowing when the jump jets are running low, to be able to get in there, get that snatch, and then take care of the pharmacy behind it? I mean, it was a poetry in motion at points, and that's the shit I love to see.
As an avid Pharah player as well, because I really do. Oh, sorry, watch together. Stop it.
Oh, I'm watching it.
Stop it. Nope. Pause. Don't be a bitch. Why won't you pause? It's literally unpausing every time it's like pausing for a split second. Pause. Are you pressing anything?
I'm not touching anything.
This is so bizarre.
I just turned the volume down, but I mean, that's
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to mute it for now. We'll just restart it when it comes time.
Okay.
Even that's not working. I think this website just broke because the volume control is not working at all.
Huh.
Maybe it's okay. It's the way it handles Twitch. I see. Yeah, okay. So your volume is actually controlled within the Twitch replayer, but the pause and play is controlled from the Watch Together replayer.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Wow. Okay. Anyway,
Wow.
sorry
Okay.
for the interruption in the audio, my friends. Just needed to. I haven't used Watch Together a whole lot, I'll be honest. I was trying to stall for a little bit of time here, see if Hamwell would join us in chat, just so we could get some direct feedback. But anyway, I digressed. You were talking about. Did you finish your point on avoided there? I feel like I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. We were just talking about the poetry in motion. Ollie Manser and I, we really built a story on how these OTPs and they're not as stern to that OTP moniker. They'll switch to a Sombra. They'll switch to a Tracer if needed. They'll switch to a Winston if they need to contest a point.
Right.
They'll switch to a Junkrat if they're needing extra spam or they want a tire. So, it was just the way that we wove the story around how they were getting so much value out of what they were running, which should have never worked. That's what the most exciting Overwatch is when people, I've said it throughout our casting career, have the balls to do something different. Don't just stay stagnant. If you're getting your ass beat in double shield and you're doing the mirror comp, change something up. It's always been one of my hallmarks, and that's where everybody got the chaotic neutral Billy.
Well, and don't play meta just because you feel like you have to, or that's what people are telling you have to play. Like I think that's a trap a lot of people get stuck into, a lot of teams get stuck in. And there's a reason meta is meta. There's a reason everybody was running double shield with Ashe and Genji, with the Baptiste and the Brig. There's a reason that's why we were seeing what we were seeing, but it's understanding why the reason and then what counters it. Because if Team CEC just wanted to just settle back and play double shield with everybody else in Chinese contenders, we wouldn't have double bubble right now, which is what we saw in the grand finals of Overwatch League for Countdown Cup.
Yep.
People were running the Zarya Winston. It's that innovation is what leads to better Overwatch, period.
Now, I got laughed at, and I'm probably going to say this is probably half a year ago. I actually suggested the Winston Zarya. No, I really did, and I actually got laughed at about it. They're like, "There's no way that would ever work." I'm like, "You don't know how." I mean,
yep.
You throw the bubble in as he dives in. He starts getting his cleave. Once the bubble's gone, he throws his own bubble down. By that time, his jump pack should come back. He can get back, and
your Zarya is charged to the heavens and there to protect the back line. Like, you go on the back line, that Zarya is already charged up because the bubble's from Winston, and you're just running into that double damage, 80-plus charge. It's dangerous. Like, it's scary. You're not going to go tackle a Baptiste with IF when you've got a Zarya in your face.
And it instantly negates Genji's value, especially if you've got good tracking.
It can, yeah. It certainly can.
If you've got the good tracking, because you're not right-clicking at that point. Listen to me, talking like I fucking played PC all my life. You're left clicking there and you're using the beam. You're using the energy beam instead of the right click to get your grav charge, because you're not working that hard to get grav.
Well, and then didn't you have grav for blade? I mean, that's we saw the nano blades that just get grabbed and boom. I mean, you'll take that trade any day of the week. Y'all threw in your nano and your dragon blade, and I just threw a graviton surge and you couldn't move. Like, take that trade all day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
Absolutely, and that was another thing that we hit on, is that watching the second match that we did, the value of the Zarya in that comp, especially if you are a smart and canny Zarya, your bubble maintenance can win you or lose you the fight before it ever starts. So that's something that we really touched upon. I'm going to go back and watch my EBC stuff, but the second match that we had that in, oh my gosh, it was like, it was just flowing. And just to see the counterplay between the off and the main tank, and the nano going onto a Winston, uh, building that primal rage, using that the damage resistance and the extra oomph in the Tesla cannon, and you're building that primal that much faster. Jesus, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We have two very viable metas right now that don't look at all the same.
Oh no, double bubble was built to counter double shield. And that's you hit the nail right on the head though. That is your order of operations. You use that nano boost onto the Winston. Winston is then able to use that to finish off the last 30% of primal. Then you have primal to stall and with any luck pick up a couple kills, but at the very least you displace him so bad that Sombra and Genji just move in and have all the room in the world to find their individual picks.
Yeah.
And then you have EMP and Blade to cycle through. So then the next fight, you have EMP Blade to work with, or Graviton Surge and Blade, or whatever. And then you can just cycle through those ultimates. It's a beautiful, beautiful balance. I love it.
It's a beautiful dance.
It's a beautiful dance. I love watching double bubble, man. And of course, it refers to the Winston bubble and the Zarya bubbles.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've given Hamwell enough time. That's enough leeway. I'm anxious to get into this. I'm excited to do a caster VOD review. Let's just jump right into this thing. You ready, Billy?
I'm ready.
So this is one map. I believe this is King's Row. No. This player is acting a little weird, but it's okay.
Derpy doo.
Okay, it doesn't handle Twitch very well. Okay, let's do that.
There you go.
So yeah, if I saw correctly, this is gonna be King's Row. That seems like that's gonna be a little loud. Turn this down just a hair.
Yeah, I'm turning it down on my end too.
Alright, let's see. Well, he gave a lot of leeway on this. There was like 12 minutes of leeway.
Starting
take care of the supports.
Well then.
I do like the music.
Yeah, the music's not bad.
It's chill.
something that both teams need to get off on the right foot as we head in.
We'll back it up.
Me,
We'll
Tiburon, and many more that have
just trying to get a little bit of lead in here so we can get some of the pre-map talk.
match.
Yeah,
Gonna be exciting.
Oh, it certainly is, and as you said, this is our Tier 4 Masters Division showcased in.
Okay. All right, I just right out of the gate. If you're gonna say it's gonna be exciting, you gotta have some excitement.
In this evening's matchup, we do have the Crazy 88s taking on the Crusaders Pride in this Tier 4 bout. And if you've been following CGL at all in Sidious, the 88s roster, a lot of familiar faces there. Their roster that actually just won the CGL multi-tier tournament, won the Tier 4 division, and looking to continue that dominance here into CCC.
Yeah, they have a few
Good story
MVPs
point.
on
I like
there,
that.
including Hinami, Tiburon, and many more that have performed throughout CGL and took them to glory in CGL Season 2.
Yeah, absolutely. A big fan of Hanami. Definitely one of the stronger support players in the console watch scene in general. But the Crusaders, we saw a little bit of them, a match that I actually had the pleasure of casting in preseason, where they pulled off the reverse sweep it was a phenomenal match to watch, and this is a team that I think very much could take a strong fight. This will be a very big test for them. There is no denying that. This is a very strong 88's roster, but this is a match that really could show us kind of where Crusaders' pride really measures up.
Yeah, exactly. 88s really need to put on a show here and show the rest of T4 what they're about.
Yes, absolutely. In a week one match, that's something that both teams need to get this series
One thing
started
I'm
off on the
noticing
right
right out
foot.
of the gate, and this
As we
is
head into our map one, which is going to be Oasis, what can
this is kind of tough for Hammy, but Hamwell seems higher on the energetic level. Like if your play-by-play is, I mean, we would say this is like at a 3 right now, maybe a 2 as far as energetic. Because you want to build your energy level throughout the course of the cast. The energy, and so in the very beginning, you don't want to come out at an 8, because then you leave yourself no room to go as the match continues. And as you go through the maps, your opening control map should slowly start to build. And as you get closer to match point, as you get closer to more impactful team fights, your hype level should go up with it. And so it creates your overall story arc. But with that said, your color caster should be a touch behind. If your play-by-play caster's at a 4, the color caster should probably be at a 3, and try to kind of maintain that level, because traditionally, your play-by-play was the hype man. That's the one who's usually responsible for bringing the energy to the cast, and the color caster reinforces that and controls that and fills in the gaps as necessary. So your color caster is responsible for bringing it back down when necessary and for hyping it up leading into really important team fights. Right now, I mean, Hamwell's play-by-play is probably a little lower in energy level than I would like to see. So that can be tough, because I know Hamwell is himself usually a very energetic person. And so I could tell he's trying to dial it back. But right now there does seem to be a disconnected energy level between the two casters.
I think that also his color is like way low on the energy. I mean, it feels very sluggish from the color, and Hamwell's trying to.
Is Hamwell on play-by-play here?
Hamwell is on play-by-play here.
Okay, see, I've always known Hamwell as a color caster.
I've always known him as a play-by-play.
I guess it's when I've worked with them, and so I guess he took color when I worked with them. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. That changes my opinion a little bit, but the point still stands. You're absolutely right. The color caster needs to up the energy level a little bit to match Hamwell. Then Hamwell should be driving the energy level, and the color caster needs to kind of up it to catch up with him a little bit.
And you know how I always feel. I always feel like I'm the one, after a hype moment where we were talking about peaks and valleys, I'm the one that's supposed to reinforce and then bring down the hype.
Correct.
And kind of settle things down and set it up for the next fight. And I feel like I'm doing it right now. It's so ingrained in me now.
And I think
also
the map
crutch lines.
What's that?
Crutch lines. I'm hearing yes, absolutely, from both sides.
Yeah.
Watch your crutch phrases.
It's usually bad to pick up a transition with yes or yeah, especially yeah. Yeah sounds particularly lazy.
It does.
And it
Indeed
happens.
Is fun. I like Indeed.
I use Indeed. I agree with that because, and then you get that same response of yes, like you're acknowledging what your co-caster is saying, but then you're doing it in a way that's interesting, and it provides a frame of thought behind it. It provides the why.
And it's the reinforcing of each other's position as well.
Yes, sir. From the DM, I believe he wanted us to look at King's Row. That's the map he intended to send, but didn't. Okay. I think he failed to timestamp it, so that's why we're getting it from the very beginning here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to King's Row. Well, let's get into this thing.
Up 1-0, going into King's Row. So now I think we get to
see was that a perfect place to hit?
Going in their favor.
Honestly, they need to.
It was perfect.
Take care of the.
Your timing, as always, my dear good sir, is impeccable.
Vital.
Well, and then of course the player just bounced back on.
So if the Crusaders can kind of.
I will say, Watch Together handles
Map too.
YouTube
So
way
this map
better
just
than it
historically has always been
handles
so
Twitch.
much fun to. It's cool.
Right.
We didn't see Lijiang Tower for once for the control map. Previously, us being. You have to imagine there are some
There we go.
pretty
This is good.
tailor-made strats catered specific Kings Row that we're going to see here that could hopefully pay dividends to allow Crusaders to extend this lead that they've got.
Exactly. And the Crusaders are going for the Farah Genji, and the hit scan is very limited on the other side, so they're gonna struggle. And in the first fight, we have Zarya just pounding up second attacks, and the Crusaders are flanking them from either side. The DPS are going in behind, and the Reinhardt is charging through the middle. Oh, Starboy gets the first pick. Hanami gets back on Callboy with the antibiotic grenade. And May's in the side room just firing icicles into them. But Brooke gets the res onto Called Bolt. And
Are we sure
just-
Hamill's
Are
on
we
play-by-play?
sure?
now the Farah
Dude,
pharmacy
okay,
is just-
I think
is
you're
getting
right. I think he
powered
is on
up.
color.
And the Reinhardt devious cat.
Either
is just
way, the
protecting
co-caster
his
took his
supports.
space. He took his
And
space.
Takanato
Yeah.
shoots
And
down
this is
Starboy,
okay.
and
So this
Zany
goes
Legend
back to knowing your
hidden
space. And the other caster isn't doing Hamwell any favors here, because he started off in the realm that should have been. If he started off in color, went through the play-by-play, and is now back into the color space again, and has not given up the mic. If I'm Hamwell in this situation, you steal this shit. Like, you absolutely just pipe in. The timing is a little bit off here, and you need to make sure and respect each other's space as play-by-play in color.
Pins Devious Cat. And Gamer on the Go also takes out Called Bolt. Flat Neko Cats gets the pick.
This
on
fight's over.
Konami, but
This fight's
a bit
long
too late
over.
As Gamer on the Go takes Chungus and also Flat Neko Cats.
See, and the thing about the mismatch here in the tank line with playing the Zarya is that the longer a fight goes on, the longer Zarya is going to be able to gain value and build up that charge. So if the fight starts going on for an extended period of time, Zarya is really going to be starting to benefit the side of 88s more. But you've got an amplification matrix and Neko coming
Stay
out
active.
with that Dragon Blade.
Don't say
Yes,
will
Neko might
benefit.
not have Blade, but
Try to stay active in the verbs,
May is
and
gonna be very hard. But Starboy gets the pick on
Crazy
May.
88's benefits from
Gets the pick on
Zarya
Reinhardt.
because.
And the Rocket Barrage comes in from Starboy here and doesn't do much, but just it's a zoning ult. And Devious Cat is almost on his way to shatter. The Ash is top. El Taconato does his best, but
Can you pause it real
can't
quick?
do anything.
Of course.
But Crusaders, they pick up.
Okay, so Hamill, in that moment where you passed off to him, he was very slow on the uptake, and when when Gamer tossed out the grav, it was a desperation throw. You could have really piped this in there. What is he thinking with that grab? Because there was absolutely no way that that the 88s were going to be able to capitalize on it, because most of the team was back in spawn. Do you say in that moment he throws out a desperation grab to see what he gets out of it, or is this a chance for him to go back to spawn and bring out a Sigma? So here, this is where the question of why did they do that? I would have piped up in that moment, because no offense, but your play-by-play is droning on like a bagpipe, and you need to interject yourself into the conversation because you got stuff to say.
Yeah,
There's
steal
a
your
lot of
space
stuff-
if you have to. Steal
Yep,
your space if
steal
you
your
have
space.
to. And the play-by-play isn't doing Hamwell any favors here. Really needs to learn to recognize their space to talk a lot better, I believe. I think is how I'm going to phrase that.
Point number one.
Yeah, and they do it in pretty fine fashion with a nice time bait. They do still have Shatter and Graviton Flux online for this attack.
Gravitic Flux,
For,
get your names.
Crazy 8s to really get a strong defensive hold here while they try to defend this choke. You know, you've got Tiburon with that freeze, but this is going to be a sneaky Flux coming over the top that gets shut down by a timely sleep. Wow.
Ooh, that massive shatter from the 88.
I actually liked that transition. That was a good handoff from Hamwell.
The Immortality Shield is protecting it a little bit, but Gamer on the Go gets an accretion to the face of both supports from the Pride. Gamer on the Go does well to keep out the other side, but they're lacking in numbers here, and both DPS are just pushing the cart. And there's only one player in their way, but he gets a pick onto Starboy. But now the group is back up, and Devious Cat is back on the Rhine, and he's back up front. The DPS are going around the right. So
All of this is Color's room to talk. This is when the fight's breaking out.
Still in the middle.
So if we back it up ever so slightly, this whole push around Bookstore is Hamwell's room to set up the next fight. Oh, that's this is part of having a 2-hour VOD. Because it's so hard to find these. Yeah, it's such a.
The group is back
This is
up.
what I'm gonna look at. This is all Color's room to talk. This fight is not going to break out until the two Rhines meet at this corner. Now is when the fight broke it out. Now is when the play-by-play should start talking and pick up this fight.
Still in the middle. Graviton Plug comes up from above, takes out both supports, but the Immortality Shield gets insanely well. Ooh, big Shatter Block from Zany Legend, and El Tacanado gets taken out by Starboy with the arrow, and the Crusaders are looking to push in here.
I feel like the play-by-play for other play-by-plays, I feel like the play-by-play is getting overwhelmed with the amount of activity going on screen, and I think to alleviate that, you try to narrow your focus on what's important, and try to keep your focus on a particular aspect of the fight. And like we talked about when we were doing a practice cast earlier, you can focus on the supports if that's what you want your story thread to be. But this feels like the play-by-play is getting lost and therefore not sure what to talk about, which is causing this hesitation.
They do have to watch out for flat Neko Cats with that Dragon Blade. They do have to watch out for the Grav Dragon combo coming out from Zarya and Hanzo. But they've got a lot of ults on their side, and if they can play this fight right, they can shut that down before this even begins.
And
that's better.
Coming in. Ooh, that's a massive.
It was good timing from Hamwell. Could stand to be a little bit more succinct.
The Crusaders are just
to elaborate why the ultimates were important that he was referring to. Go ahead.
Also, you know, getting into the why.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Getting into the why. Why was it so important for them to get that initial pick? Why was Flat Neko's needed to be taken out when he's carrying Blade? Also, if you can, and you don't have to say their whole entire gamer tag, but you need to be referring to the players, if you can, by their name. Don't say the Hanzo and the Zarya. That just sounds lazy.
I mean, it's okay from time to time. Just a counterpoint on that, I agree with that for the most part. But even this is something that Hex brought up, that if someone doesn't know these teams, they're not going to know. I mean, trying to read through they're not going to know who Zany Legend is. I mean, we know because we've cast Zany Legend a time. And so that can help just clarify to a viewer, but it doesn't need to be. You have to choose when. And if you're never using player names, it certainly comes across as lazy.
Yep. And then, I mean, right now, I mean, that was a great pass off from Hamwell to Insidious or whatever his name is. I mean, I would have taken a little bit more space there.
I'm backing this fight up just a little bit so we can rewatch that last engagement.
Right. I would have taken a little more space there, Zoc, and, you know, set up what's going to be coming into this next fight, you know, because you almost have the Gravitic Flux online. You're going to have a beat to try and stall, but they did draw out the they drew out the nano boost in that fight, so that's a huge swing if you're looking at ultimate economy. So that would be something I'd be looking at.
All right,
that's just and
yeah,
Starboy.
Let's watch this last engagement again.
Over. Have the counters to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Cat gets picked.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's a huge pick, too, on your Reinhardt. I mean, that's going to slow down this attack considerably as you wait for that reset.
Actually,
they've
I
got a
wanted
lot
to back up a little
online
bit here.
on the
we
side
go.
of Crusaders, really only missing that Shatter, which, you know, at 65%, that could be online very shortly. It's going to be a
and
flurry here.
that massive tire from Junkrat from Tiburon. And Bob comes in.
Still didn't go back as far as I
almost
wanted, but it's fine.
all of their ults, but so do the Crusaders. They only have 2 ults left.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I expected that fight to be a flurry.
This
of
is
ults,
where
and really
specificity
didn't
comes
see
into
much
play.
change because of it. Only about 30
It's not a matter of
seconds lost off the
2
clock.
ults, it's a matter
And now
of
Zany
what
Legend
ults
sitting
and
on that Shatter
how
on
those are going to
defense.
play out
That's
together.
going to be a huge ultimate.
A big
especially-
shatter can shut down that
honestly,
Genji blade.
if you've
Otherwise,
got
that
a
Genji blade could
ulting,
run rampant.
Genji, a solo Shatter is worth it.
There it
That's
is!
what we see.
Yep. Nice. Well,
Gets that, and
That was really nice.
slowly rezzed up. And
You took the information your play-by-play fed you, and you elaborate on it and gave it the why, and that's exactly what we saw play out. That was beautiful, Hamwell.
Dominating that Reinhardt matchup. Maybe Cold Volt shouldn't be on the.
I even
offense,
liked the throw.
as he is a main tank player.
Oh, it just kills me though. I mean, they did so good to shut down. They shattered the Genji as he hits Dragon Blade, but then they let Brook get the res off. Like, that's inexplicable to me. You can't let that happen.
Devious Cat gets
Nice.
his ult blocked immediately, and he's just getting ruined from Zany Legend. The Reaper coming in from the right is looking to teleport into the backline, but they're just getting spawn camped here. The Crusaders, but it should turn out, hopefully, for the Crusaders.
Well, and the
Better way, but Chungus immediately
play-by-play
gets hit
missing the
from
shatter block, I
Tiburon.
think, was a big
Starboy
miss.
right
That was an
here
opportunity
fires
to
the
start
dynamite
the
into
comeback for Crusaders. They're able to block that shatter, get an ult out with no value,
hopefully
and that can start them to
Crusaders
push
can
back into
push
this
in on
fight. I
this.
think that was an opportunity missed by the play-by-play.
Yeah, absolutely.
he
And, I
also
mean,
missed
these
the
long,
fact
drawn-out
that,
fights where
that
the ult's
Brook
really
got
only
another
being
res off
played, that's really just
uncontested.
benefiting the
Yes.
defense. I mean,
And that was something
it's
that Hamels
constantly
fed him on a
allowing
plate.
ADAs to
Yes.
maintain kind of a positive ult economy against the side of Crusaders as they let fly here. Ooh.
Those 2 ults from Tiburon and El Taco Natso get everyone from
And-
the Crusaders.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. They're being very efficient with their ults. They're, you know, getting a ton of huge
There was also
plays.
3
Your
ults. The
defense
Gravitic
is
Flux set that
only
all up.
using a limited amount of ults. They still have both their ults online.
Try to stay
Now,
accurate
Crusaders,
with
this
your
could be their
calls.
fight to take here. They
Yeah,
do have a
Starboy
supreme
sent
ult
out Bob.
advantage. What a
They're
sleep!
pushing. Ooh. The Graviton comes in from Cold Bolt, and beat drop from Inferno Butters gets dropped, but this Reaper Mercy on the top gonna counter them, but they're slowly pushing the cart, and it's just the corner battle is insane. But that's a massive
Ooh, it's
shatter.
big.
But the Rhine is powered up, and oh, El Taco Natso kills Starboy, but Starboy gets everyone. He kills El Taco Natso back, but the Crusaders are pushing this on overtime. It's just the Rhine and the Lucio left, and hopefully the Crusaders can push this as far as possible.
Yeah, that was the cleanup they really needed. They really don't have much on the side of ultimates on the board. Flat Necrocast is going to get that death loss of online though, and that's going to provide huge value. He can't get picked early here.
Oh, but the
as
Ash gets picked
Taco
off,
goes down.
and so, everyone's getting picked off in this DPS lineup. But Gamer on the Go takes out one of the supports, but that DPS combo finishes, and there's round 1 over in overtime.
Yeah, and an excellent job by AD8s to go ahead and get that fight into overtime.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can watch the second half of this if you really want to. I feel like I've got enough just from seeing that one attack to kind of understand what we're going to see on the second attack, and really probably for the rest of the cast. Respect each other's space. And Hamwell, I feel like you did a good job of working with what you got, but don't be afraid to take the space you need. If your co-caster isn't, and this happens to the best of us, sometimes you just spill over, and this is where soft and hard resets as casters comes into play, where you kind of just got to reset the timing on when you're speaking and what room you have to work with. But as a caster on either side, color or play-by-play, don't be scared to take the space. And that controls the pacing of your entire cast. It's so important to get that pacing right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a strict The fight is happening, play-by-play is talking. The fight's not happening, color is talking. But if you don't have those basics down, you don't know when to break that rule. That timing, I think, is the most important aspect that could be really tightened up in this cast that I'm seeing. What do you think,
Yep.
Billy?
I 100% agree. I think that you just have to be more. Oh, you have to be more forward with how you're getting your information out. And, we hear the 70-30 split where it's 70% play by play and 30% color. And I skew that up. I was told that I need to speak more because the information that I have is very valuable and I deliver it in a concise way. Make sure that you're authoritative when you come in. Don't come in with a or a yeah, absolutely. Come in with a here's why this happened. Come in here and say, it was great that Crazy 88s got them into overtime. Now, how are we going to see what just happened on attack or on their defense? How is Crazy 88s going to turn the tide in their favor? And here's what I think they're going to need to do to take it. You have to set up. At this point, you have to wipe the entire slate clean, what you saw, and the lack of what you were given by your play-by-play. You take this space this entire time from now where you see this round one complete where you're starting to speak. Now is your time until those gates open. It is your time. And I don't think that it may just be a novice play-by-play. That's the best way I want to say it. I don't think that the timing just was really off. And you did try to correct the course a few times. That is the other thing that I wanted to say. I don't want it to sound like a bash because it's not, because the information you were getting out there was absolutely spot on. I mean, you calling the solo shatter into a dragon blading Genji worth
that was
it.
the highlight of the cast.
Yeah, and your pass off to Insidious at that point was brilliant.
It was brilliant. That was you'll absolutely solo shatter a Genji to get rid of that blade, and boom, there it is. And then you left that wide open with some energy level. And that's the other thing. I to be honest, the play-by-play needs to step up the energy level. And that's making, I think, life difficult on Hamwell as the color caster, because I can tell Hamwell wants to get into it. Hamwell wants to throw some energy and get excited, but it creates this separated feel in the energy levels between the two casters. So I can that was the highlight of the match. Certainly was that. It was the highlight of the cast, and what we saw there was that call. That was really good. That was really good.
There was a little space there too that he actually took it back from the play-by-play. When the Immortality and the Bob came out, he actually took it back because I think he felt the lack of energy and the lack of hype and the lack of aggression coming from the play-by-play. He actually took it back there, and went a little bit more back into his play-by-play roots. And I really approve of that highly. If you're not getting the same hype, and that was a very frenetic fight at that point. Once that
absolutely, it was a very important fight.
Once the shatter came down, he got the pin into it. He turned around. There is a Bob. There is a nano boosted somebody. I can't remember, but also the Immortality field came out at that point, so they were actually able to start aggressing again. And you actually took that space back from Insidious and was driving the cast at that point. And sometimes the color does have to do that. If you have stuff that you have to get out there, step on the play-by-play's time. Don't do it egregiously. But if you have a thought and you need to finish that thought that is important to the fight that is happening right now, absolutely take that space. And as I say, reclaiming my space. Just like Maxine Waters in the Senate right now. Reclaiming my time. You have a very vital part of this cast too, and I was very impressed that you took it back from him and he kind of rolled over and let you do it.
But okay, so tradition. Hi, Nick. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be around. It's been a busy couple of months for us since multi-tier season 7 ended. We've been super busy from Elo Hell and breaking into the PC side, but we haven't forgotten about our console brethren. We know our roots. We'll be around. Don't you worry. But back to the point at hand. there's a traditional storytelling elements are incredibly important to casting. And so you have your introductions, you have your build up, which leads to your conflict, and then you have the climax of that conflict resolution, and then the resolve of the story. That Earthshatter onto that Genji was the climax of that fight, and that was absolutely the peak of it, and that's why that was so good. And the rest of the push hinged on that one play. So it's maintaining that nice story arc really separates the men from the boys when it comes to cast. Really separates the pros from the novice when it comes to casting. Not to make it sexist.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, that's exactly right. Also, think about the peaks and valleys. Peaks and valleys in your casting. I mean, you had a Dead Sea Elevation play-by-play. I mean, if I'm being completely honest.
And we don't mean to be too harsh, but the whole point of this is to help us all improve. We're learning watching this. We're learning what we can do better watching this. So we're certainly not throwing shade or trying to say that we're better than anybody else. We're all learning here together, but I agree wholeheartedly, Billy.
Yeah, it was a flat line for me.
Right. The energy didn't build.
Yeah, you would have been out of your seat in the middle of that. You would have jumped when he hit that shatter. I would have been like completely like eyeballs on my screen, like, oh my god. You would have heard me react.
We're very energetic casters, so
we are very energetic casters. But still, I mean, this is something that everybody can learn: is when is it appropriate to have the energy, when is it appropriate to have the hype, and when is it time to have more of a conversational tone.
Right.
And that's also what builds the story and builds the hype of a cast.
And there are different styles. I mean, that's just the nature of casters and what makes you individual, and that's a good thing. Having your own individual style is a good thing, but there still needs to be a certain build that creates the tension, that creates the hype.
The only other thing that I would say to Hamwell, Zoc, you're my brother, you know this. I think that the fluidity and the comfort of what you're casting, I think the what was it?
Intention, perhaps?
The intention of what you're saying. Focus on two things after the fight, and then figure out what for the next fight you're going to be looking at. And you were trying to do that so hard, and you kept getting ran over. I heard it, so it was. I felt like it was very disconcerting for me hearing it. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like totally trying to run over into space. I'm like clawing my neck here. It's like, dude, get out of his space.
Get out of his space.
Get out of my face. No, but I think that the intention and the fluidity with which your thoughts come out. Get a Post-it note. I have a stack of Post-it notes where I scribble, this happened in the mid fight. And that's something that I've learned.
I use
really
a notebook.
Me.
This is just contenders notes and open division notes. To where
I have like 80 Post-it notes.
Yeah. I write down scores from each map, important highlights, and it's just to help you thread the story in your brain. Oh yeah. I have multiple. I have a notebook for each tournament. So this is my tier 2 notebook. I have a CGL notebook. I have a tier 3 notebook. It's absolutely keeping your thoughts and the information organized is clutch to being able to present it, because you have to present it in an organized fashion to stream. You have to be concise, and you're going to have 10 things you want to talk about, and you need to pick 2. That's brilliant advice from Billy. Yeah, I mean, pick 2 and focus on that to keep the story flowing and to eliminate the noise. Earlier in the stream, we were talking about adding noise to the mix, and you don't want to add noise. You want to add clear, concise story elements with everything you say.
If I take my musical theater and music background into it, here's the way I look at the 2 roles. The color caster is the narrator, and the play-by-play is the prima donna, the star, the principal actor in the role. And when they get done with their lines and they get done with a huge aria, they come to the crashing end. In comes the narrator and tells people why it was such an impactful moment. Why, did Rusalka take out Ursula in The Little Mermaid? I mean, it's just like that. The narrator comes in and gives you not only gives you the why of why that scene is over, but now what's going to happen coming into the next scene.
Correct.
So
and
think
that's
of yourself as a narrator.
And the energy levels, I mean, legit threw me off. I thought at the beginning, Hamwell was the play-by-play. I was right there with you. I was like, oh, Hamwell's got the energy here. I mean, it was definitely a little disjointed there. The play-by-play should work on trying to add more emphasis and more energy, and I think that will come with confidence and practice. It seemed a little bit unsure of themselves, which we all have that. I mean, that's.
I still have it.
Yeah, that happens to the best.
I still go. Blah, 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 blah.
That'll grow with experience. Just doing it more.
But I mean, I in the moments that you had your stuff out there, that you had the space to get your information out, 90% of it absolutely spot on. I mean, you had the 9,000 IQ call on the solo shatter. So
keep the calls concise.
Yep.
Keep focused points on what you want to talk about. Don't get too scattered on trying to talk about 10 different things. I think that's my biggest advice to Hamwell, and take your space. Take your space.
That was my biggest thing, was I was trying to get every ounce of information out of my head across through the mic, because I wanted to seem like I had my shit together, and it just came out as a incoherent at times Jello mold.
This goes for everybody. I don't care if you're casters, players, who you are. You don't have to fucking prove yourself to anyone. Period.
And that is what I learned.
You are on the mic, especially as a caster. You are the one in control. If you're in the game, you are the one playing the game, not anybody else. If you're on the mic, that is your mic, that is your space. You don't have to fucking prove yourself to nobody. That you are the authority. And you're going to make mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. The pros make mistakes. But don't ever feel like you have to prove to your audience that you know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. And when you step up to that mic, you're the best fucking caster on the planet. I don't care who you are. That's how you have to approach it.
Yep. You
can have all the self-doubt and fear in the world when you're done and you're watching it. You're like, oh, I didn't like that. Oh. But in the moment, push that away.
Yep. And that's how I honestly, Hamwell, that's how I went from, a CGL caster to now casting
kind of shape,
Open Division and Trial of Champions. And I actually did a trials match, nervous as hell. But I just remembered who I was. And I mean, I even with things going on in the background, like my internet sucked, I never let it come across the mic, because I own this fucking mic. I own my information.
That was so clutch, by the way. And that's another good point. I mean, technical issues are going to happen. I mean, it just happens. We don't have control over the ISP. Sometimes your internet just shits the bed. And you can't... It's hard to not let it affect the cast, but you got to do your best to just brush it off and keep moving. Don't let it affect your confidence. The best you can.
Yeah, I mean, Shape, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've never faked... I faked my confidence. Because, and you have to, if shit's going on behind the scenes, it's good. I mean, it throws me for a curveball, but I just decided, just throw a fucking picture of me up, and I'll just cast like I'm doing this VOD review right now without my face up there. My face is not, well, I do have a pretty face, but
truth.
It's not my face that is what is going across the screen 90% of the cast. It's my voice.
And your personality, I think, most importantly.
Yeah. And my personality. And Hamwell, you got a ton of personality.
Yes, sir.
You crack me the fuck up, and you know your shit. And you know your shit.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You know your shit. You know what you want to say. Just have the same, like I say, have the stones. Just, you have the biggest set.
And you can fake your confidence, but you can't fake the knowledge and the information.
Nope.
And so that's the one area when I say you can't fake it till you make it. You do need to know what the fuck you're talking about.
I know what I like. That's when I was getting the stuff from Boop and from Necra.
You can tell we got all enthusiastic. We started cursing a lot. We got real emphatic real fast.
But I mean, we're passionate about this, and
that we are.
And I cuss when I'm feeling passionate about it. I have to censor it on the stream, but I don't when I'm doing the professional stuff. But seriously, I mean, the emotion, you have all those things, Hamwell, and dude, I can't wait to see where you go. Seriously.
Agreed. 100%. A lot of potential. It just needs to be refined and unlocked.
I just think you got saddled with a feed bag this time.
A little bit lackluster. Not to say there's not potential on the other side, but just a little bit lackluster play-by-play. We all had to start somewhere, and I'm not anybody who's got the stones to get in front of the mic and attempt to do this thing. I applaud you, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Easy.
No,
it's not easy.
It's not as easy as it looks by any stretch of the imagination. So no, 100% applauding somebody just for stepping up and giving it a go. And it's gonna feel rough and a little shaky, and you're gonna be a little not just nervous but unsure at first, and so.
Normalize cursing. Yes. No. But Hamwell, I mean, like I said, from what I saw here,
it's true shape.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I just want to touch back on something Nick said. I hope to see an open division in contenders. I saw that up there. We were a little distracted, but I wanted to go back and touch on that point. I look forward to casting you on some T3, some T2 Overwatch. Anyway.
Wait, is he in?
He's moving to PC.
Well, yeah, you got to get it to contenders, Nick. I mean, I've known you for a long time, my friend, and yeah, I would shit myself if I saw you in contenders. Are you kidding me? Yeah, anybody from the console scene that makes it that far, I'm going to be just over the moon, and I'm going to have a tear in my eye when I cast. But yeah, I mean, we remember our roots. We remember where we come from. I mean, we're still going to be casting some console stuff. I'm going to be trying to get into some of the console contender stuff at PlayStation only. But I got asked to come in there and do some stuff. So
as time permits, and then we got MTT Iteration 8 around the corner, and as time permits, yeah, we'll absolutely be there casting as much. But we have to. There are other wonderful opportunities that we cannot deny and we cannot pass up. So,
yeah, and so that doesn't mean we're like going to say yeet, we're gone,
right?
But I mean, contenders South America or contenders China or contenders Europe or heaven forbid OWL at some point someday. I mean, yeah, but
that's the goal. That's
the goal. And we're not young. We're not spring chickens.
You never know until you try. Yeah, but it's never too late. I firmly believe that. It's never too late. Do what you love.
Oh, yeah. I do not. I love this.
Don't let something as superficial as a number stop you from doing what you love.
Yeah.
Because, we're older than most of the people around us, but hey.
Yep. Experience counts, though.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. We've been going for a little over 3.5 hours. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Shape, it was very nice meeting you. I hope I get to see you around some more. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Nick, thank you for stopping by. And we had Spacey in here earlier. I really appreciate all y'all hanging out with us today. It's been a blast. And I've learned, I feel like I've grown over the past 3.5 hours in my own casting. So I want to keep this going. I think I'm going to turn this into a Monday thing. I'm just planning on every Monday at 6 Eastern. We'll hop in here. Either we'll do some practice casts. We'll do some VOD reviews. We'll figure out some way to keep this learning going, because this is so beneficial to everybody, I think.
I think it's next level for us, too. I think that us being able to mentor out to people that we know and help them out and help them grow too. I think it helps us grow at the same time, because there are different aspects to everything that we don't know everything, and we get to learn more too. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you want to get your casting reviewed, feel free to hit me up. My DMs are always open. If you have any questions on casting or anything in production for that matter, feel free to hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Billy, thanks for joining me here in our review section.
Dude, it was fun.
Yeah, no, so much better to have you here to help me out.
I love reviewing. That's something that I have been doing for a while on my own, and to get the chance to share it with you, that just makes it even more special. And it gives us Bull Skunk Billy time too.
Indeed. All right, my friends. We'll be back here Wednesday with Diva 8 My Podcast. I hope to see you then. Until then, well, y'all look out for each other in Game It Out. I'm going to close it out like I would a cast. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Love y'all.